Box. So it's we've been the steady ones here, but yeah, good to be here, mate. Great day for footy and nice blue skies, perfect conditions, ready for a big game. Both teams, season-defining game really for both teams, isn't it?
It's huge for different reasons, of course. The Swans looking to lock away top two and the advantages that come with that, and of course the Giants, who are no guarantee of featuring in the top 10 as it now is with those wild card spots. But has the build-up as far as the crosstown rivalry felt a little bit soft this week?
Well, I think there's other focus points around this. I think for the Swans is, are they going to go on this form slide after being so good, and then what's that look like finals? Like, if they don't win today, they're a massive chance of losing the second spot to Hawks. Hawks played the Bombers. They should get up in that game, and then they lose second spot where you would have said a few weeks ago they had that in the bag already. So. And then the noise starts going on. You know, the last few years when they finish up the top and they get to the grand final or finals and they can't produce. So I think that's been probably more of the talking point rather than.
Yeah, I think neither team's really that confident, are they? They're not willing to put it out there and
exactly
put their foot down and say they're a chance of winning. Both teams have been very nice on social media as well. There hasn't been that usual back and forth over social media to kind of build that up. But I definitely agree with you. It has felt a little bit softer coming into this game for one that is such a big game in the back end of the year.
We'll talk about the enigma that is the GWS Giants and their form line of recent, of course, losers last start to Essendon at Docklands last week, 6 days ago. I should mention the team news here. So I'll start with the Giants. The big out is Toby Green, who's out with a quad, the Giants skipper. Harvey Thomas comes in. He only missed the 1 week in the end, the Giants number one. Meanwhile, for the Swans, 2 changes with Harry Cunningham knocked out against the Crows last week. Angus Sheldrick omitted. He played in the VFL. Back in come a couple of this year's debutants, Harry Kyle and Billy Cootie. Each will play their first derby this afternoon for the Swans. The Swans, though, do need to prove a point, don't they? I mean, they're only half a game clear in second. They have, in their final 5 games, which includes today's game, all those opponents sit 10th or lower. So those games against North Melbourne, who are, I think, 13th or 14th, Port Adelaide, Essendon, which gives them a fairly easy run home. Having said that, they've lost 3 of their past 4, and the Crows proved last week that they were beatable in Sydney. So it's a really tricky time with the Swans.
Yeah, and the danger thing, and I've sort of said this all year, I haven't been a super fan of their forward handball game that everyone was raving about. I think when the pressure winds up and good defensive pressure teams come at you, it doesn't work. You put yourself in the trouble when you turn it over, and I just think they don't have too many good ball users by foot through that team. And probably why Sheldrick's out is he sort of gets the ball and just hacks it out and he's not good by foot. So. Yeah, they'll get away with the easy team. So is that going to give them a false sense of security playing these easy teams after that? So, yeah, against the good teams, they've been beaten quite easily.
Well, that's exactly right. It shows where they're at. They can't produce that against the better teams when they bring that pressure. And I think for the last 4 weeks, they're averaging 100 points against. So they're showing that when they turn it over, they're easy to score against, and that's really piling up against them as well. So we talked about that, the Swans ball movement a lot and what that looks like, and can they go to a different mode when they need to. And I mean, whether the Giants can bring the pressure of a top 5 team tonight, we're not sure, but it's definitely going to be a big talking point.
So the Giants, meanwhile, you mentioned, and I feel like no team finds their level like GWS, who in general terms are good against the good teams and terrible against the bad teams. They're 5-4 against the top 9 sides, so the top half of the 18 sides in the competition. They're currently actually 12th now, having slipped from 11th because of Carlton's win against Gold Coast only a short time ago by 13 points at Docklands. The Suns have now lost 9 straight, by the way. So that win for Carlton knocks the Giants back down to 12th. And they're 3-6 against the bottom half of teams in the competition. They've beaten the likes of Brisbane and Melbourne. They broke Freo's 14-win streak. They had the huge comeback against the Cats here in their last game at home. Come from, 39 points down to win that by 13. All that, but then they've lost to West Coast and Essendon. I mean, can anyone get a read on a team like the Giants?
So they're going to win today, basically.
Well, based on that form, yeah.
Look, it must be one of those, as a Giants supporter, it must be so frustrating when you see results like that and the up and down. I suppose it's been this sort of season for them was probably a sign at the start of the year with so many injuries and players and trying to fill spots and stuff. You can get a lot of inconsistencies when your team that you put out on the paddock each week is a bit inconsistent. So it's probably no surprise we've seen them because they've got talent. Like if they were healthy at the start of the year, we all said they're going to be top four. Like they're a really good team and they play a really good brand of footy, but they just haven't been able to put a solid, consistent team together.
Agree. To me, it shows a bit of the maturity of the squad as well. Like when they play and when they're challenged, they play their best footy and they're up for the contest and there's energy, enthusiasm around that. But then it's almost as if they get a bit bored by the lower teams and it's not a big challenge for them. Their senior players almost roll into the game. They don't set the standards. So it's been an issue for the Giants for a while now. And some of those big games in the past, they've let big leads slip. And for me, that's a sign of leadership and a sign of maturity. And for those lesser teams as well, it's almost the emotion to get up for those bigger games is such a big point for the Giants, and they play off that emotion. And to back that up week to week is really hard if you're playing those big emotional highs rather than just a really strategic approach going into the game.
Joel Patfull alongside Ryan O'Keefe, and my name is Brett Sprigg. This is Saturday Footy on ABC Sport here at the Sydney Showground for Sydney Derby 33, the Battle of the Bridge, as it's often known as well. The teams will be out there very, very shortly. There is a game getting underway, by the way, at the MCG very soon. Hawthorn versus Essendon. If you want to hear a call of that, you can do so via ABC Listen, of course, our famous app, where you can find that full call available on the ABC AFL button. Otherwise, of course, we're delighted to be here for you on ABC News Radio locally and indeed on ABC Listen via AFL Extra. I mentioned earlier at Docklands, Carlton beat Gold Coast by 13 points, and there's still a game to come at Docklands later on tonight. The Bulldogs taking on Richmond. So all of that to look forward to across your Saturday of footy. Let's introduce the fourth member of our team, of course, who calls the action up here with me in the box, and he's currently right down there in the Sydney Swans camp. Daniel Garb, hello.
Yeah, thanks very much. Beautiful Saturday afternoon for the Derby. Clear skies and not a breath of wind in the air. So it's set up to be a wonderful afternoon for a game that we look forward to immensely. And I'm lucky enough to be joined by Swans assistant coach Ben Matthews. Ben, thanks for joining us. Talk us through the week at Sydney, because, you know, the last month has been a little bit rocky and you've got some things to iron out. So what's been the focus ahead of a massive day for your football club?
Yeah, massive day. There'll certainly be, sting in the contest, and there always is against the Giants. And they're coming off a disappointing loss for themselves as well. So you're right, we've been a bit wobbly post-bye. We've come up against some pretty good teams in the last 2 weeks against Freo and the Crows. As tested us at times. We've been in front both games at three-quarter time and haven't finished the game out. We feel like our game's in okay shape. But we're making too many mistakes when it matters late in games. So we need to iron out those mistakes. We need to be really sound defensively. Is probably been the priority in our training. Really hone our defensive system and hone our contest as well. It's tended to be a bit of a, somewhat of a trend of in our poorer quarters we're getting beaten around contests. So, that's certainly been a focus for us.
In terms of ironing out the contest, do you need to focus on getting, I guess, more defensive midfielders on the ball? So maybe James Rowbottom going back on the ball a bit more. You've got, obviously, superstars in there, but do they need a bit more of a defensive shield?
Yeah, we feel like our pressure has been okay, albeit the first quarter last week it was poor. We allowed too many uncontested marks from a defensive system point of view early in the game last week, and therefore we couldn't get pressure at the contest or on the ball. They own the ball, they own the territory. So once we got that kind of under control, we got more pressure in the contest. And you saw last week, our second and third quarters against the Crows were very, very good football quarters for us. We played the game in our front half. We controlled the contest. From a personnel point of view, obviously Angus Sheldrick comes out of the team. That will allow James Rowbottom to play a little bit more on ball. To answer that question, we've had Errol Goulden back for 4 or 5 weeks now. We're hoping, he comes into his own and he is certainly a player that we can, does have that defensive running capability for us in transition to cover a McInerney and the like, and also add his own flavour. He's a star of the competition when he's up and running. So we feel like the personnel, we've made some adjustments, slight adjustments. Now we need to put it all together.
So the narrative around Sydney over the last month, whether it's accurate or not, we'll find out at the end of the season, has been, well, maybe against the best teams they can't quite match it. That's when they get found out. Do you buy into that at all? Do you discuss it at all? Do you touch on it? Does it irk you inside the four walls at the Swans?
It irks us because right now that's probably what's happened this year, certainly. Against Hawthorn, Geelong, Freo, Brisbane, and Adelaide. So they're our losses. That's fact. We don't think it's a trend that we can't be trusted against the good teams. The last 2 weeks we've been in front against two very good teams, Freo and Adelaide, at three-quarter time. So, but it is a fact right now. We've lost those games. We need to do something about that. And it's probably the opposite for the Giants. They've been magnificent against the very good teams. They've won all their tight games against good teams. So they're probably on the flip side of our equation. It'll be a great game today. It'll be two teams, always in the derbies are tough encounters, but there'll be two teams going at it with a lot of not just bragging rights and pride on the line, but in terms of ladder position on the line as well for both teams. So important clash.
Most certainly. And just finally, Charlie Curnow's been in wonderful form, but he was kept goalless by James Borlase last week, who did a really good job. The Taylor-Curnow matchup is going to be a fantastic one throughout the afternoon. How fired up is Charlie to bounce back?
Oh, he's really fired up. And we actually really loved his competing last week, but he didn't take his chances, and the Crows' defensive system and their support in the air for Borlase, who did a fantastic job, but others coming across like Worrell and their defensive sort of 6 or 7 really helped out in the air. So well done to the Crows in that regard. Charlie's always, really has a great amount of pride in his performance. He wants to compete hard. He obviously wants to hit the scoreboard. I've never seen a key forward not want to hit the scoreboard. So we really trust him in the contest and his ability to bounce back. He's been great for us and given us more than we ever thought. So big game for him as well.
A lot to watch out for, a lot to look forward to. Ben Matthews from the Swans, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Gabby. Thank you.
Gee, I love the energy there from Benny Matthews. It's apparent, isn't it, on Derby Day, where you can hear a guy like that just speaking about this rivalry and what it means. So, by the way, just on Garby's point about Charlie Curnow, of course, goalless last week in that loss against the Crows. I can also tell you he's lost the lead in the Coleman medal. So Ben King, with those 3 goals just a moment ago against Carlton, has taken the outright lead in the AFL's leading goal kicker award, and as a result, Charlie Curnow now trails by 1 on Gold Coast spearhead Ben King in the Coleman medal leaderboard. So there you go. It is a big day for him, Joel Patfull, to bounce back after last week. The Swans full forward.
Well, it is, and it's not going to get much easier for him today. It's probably one of the biggest matchups of the game, I would have thought, with himself and Sam Taylor down at fullback. One of the biggest contests for the year, really. I think those two playing full forward and full back, it'll be pivotal in the way this game plays out, but something I'm definitely looking forward to seeing. The
teams are out there very shortly. Let's waste no further time and head back to Daniel Garb, who has made his way across to the Giants camp. Garby.
Yeah, thank you. Here with Giants Senior Assistant Coach Brett Montgomery. Brett, thanks for your time. How's the week been? Because obviously last weekend was not what the club would have liked, that defeat to the Bombers. What's been done to address that? Were there some heart-to-hearts that needed to be done? Was it a tough week of training? Talk us through it.
Daniel, it was probably a whole range of different things, to be honest. Obviously, we had the initial shock, if you like, that we had to recover from, and where we're currently placed, we really don't have time to sit around and mope around what was a real low light of not just this year, probably the last 4 years, to be honest. Look, there are circumstances, but you won't hear too many of those come out of our mouths, even though there's some stuff that we'd rather not be dealing with our personnel. So, look, to be honest, it was almost a recalibration around what happened against Brisbane, what happened against Melbourne, what happened against Freo and Geelong, and then, okay, where's our shortfall in that? So, look, without going into really specific details, there's some gaps in what we do, and we have to get on top of those. If we're to be a threat today, or we're to be a threat for the wildcard game, we've got to get these things under control.
It's the Jekyll and Hyde Giants. So you've lost games you should have won, and then you've won games where you've been the outsider, perhaps. Have you put a finger on why that is?
Yeah, I love this, and I hate this Jekyll and Hyde tag. I really do. But I think it talks to that people do respect the club and do think great things of what we can do. But I just wonder whether we'd be the Jekyll and Hyde Giants if we didn't beat Geelong, we didn't beat Brisbane, and we just petered out into nothing with an extensive injury list. But because we were able to try it and we're able to conjure up some results, plan and execute some really good footy against great teams, it sort of put us in that, well, who are you? So yeah, it is a frustrating part of our journey this year.
So you take on a really good side today, so that must give you some confidence that your best can take Sydney down. What have you focused on in order to do that and get things back on track again?
Yeah, look, it's all about our game, and we really respect the way that they've made some change to their game. And look, it is starting, or does look a little bit like the strengths when we're playing well. They haven't had a great month, so we had a good look at that. So there's a little bit of belief in what we're able to do when we're at our best. We know that, but there's also, we think there's some vulnerabilities here as well. So look, we'll try and attack those today.
James Jordan will go to Finn Callaghan. Everyone fully expects that. So what plans do you have in place in order to free Finn up at stages and influence the game? Because he is so important to your midfield, which is without Toby Green today.
Yeah, you can almost take that one to the bank, couldn't you? So I think you would have seen us with Finn this month. He's been on the wing, he's been half back, he's been a high half forward. So we've had an opportunity to throw him around and have a look without trying to, I guess, derail his game or our game. So I think you'll see that it'll look a little different today. Probably see him off half back a little bit. I don't think you'll see him on ball as much as you have previous. So yeah, we'll ask some different questions.
And does Harry Rouston get more time on ball in the absence of Toby Green?
Yeah, potentially. We've given Harry an opportunity to play as a high half forward, which at times can go on ball and play with a little bit more freedom than we've got out of him in the past. You know, another one that's sort of had games out of the team, in the team. So I think what we're trying to get with Harry is a bit of continuity more than anything.
And just a final one, Brett. Obviously, you've been in the mix and you've been mentioned a lot in terms of the senior coaching availability in the AFL. Is that something that still interests you, even if you haven't got perhaps to the final 2 or 3 in some of those positions, or is it something that you're willing to park now? Because it can be, I guess, a little bit taxing at time, always going through those processes.
Yeah, it's a really good point. I don't know about park. I mean, it's something that always burns really bright inside of you, but I think that sort of passion comes out in your everyday coaching anyway. And I think, and I've said this before, you sort of just, you get your experiences, you maximise them, and you just hope that your work speaks for itself. And I guess that's where I sit right now. I mean, it's not always the right job for you, and you might not be the right person for them. It's just got to be a great fit, though. I'm loving what I'm doing.
I'm sure that opportunity will come at some stage. Thanks for your time today. Good luck.
Great stuff, mate. Thank you.
Brett Montgomery there with Daniel Garb, and Garby will make his way up to the box now and call the action for us here, which starts in about 12 minutes' time. The Swans away to the Giants in Sydney Derby 33, and as you heard there, the Swans have also made their way out onto the ground first and going through their warm-up at the scoreboard end here at a very sun-drenched Sydney Showground. Good crowd in, by the way, as well. Ryan O'Keefe, Joel Patfull, so building towards hopefully an 18,000 or so, maybe more here for what is a huge game for both sides. There are a couple of things, by the way, centred around the future of the Giants, which maybe we can come back to post-game. And it's not just Toby Green, but a bunch of other big names, experienced names that are in the conversation to move on next year, potentially. One of those, I will say, is Jake Stringer, who kicked 0-7 last week. The second time it's ever happened this millennium. So I'm sure he'd love to sort of right the ship this week as a key focal point in that Giants forward line. Out come the home side here, the Pyrotechnics and the Guard of Honour as well. And their banner simply reads, "Stand tall, never surrender." And the Giants, as is their Derby tradition, are in that very striking, prominently charcoal Guernsey with the big orange G. So the home side out here on the Sydney Showground. And a lot of questions about not just this game in the next few weeks, but beyond into next year as well.
So what's
Stringer, he's off contract.
Yeah.
Jesse Hogan is the big one as well. So
there's a few guys that are coming up. Obviously, those senior players, Cornelio's around the mark as well. What happens with Toby? But Stringer and Hogan are probably the big ones that have. Stringer's performed okay. He's always coming off a contract year, as we know, performs well, but probably didn't help himself last week. And I think that's they've got to draw a line in the sand at some point where this squad can make it, or where they've got to start again.
So do you think the Giants don't re-sign both them, or someone else?
I think they'll pin a lot of their hopes on Grzeski going forward. So he will be the main spearhead, I suppose. And there's no room then for Hogan and Stringer. Stringer doesn't want to play in the twos next year. If the idea is to promote that that younger talent. So that's all part of the conversation going forward. And Hogan's got offers potentially from the likes of Collingwood and Gold Coast on the table. So a fourth club, Jesse Hogan potentially.
The word on the street is that at this stage there hasn't been a contract offered for either player. So it's up in the air, and I think that's come down to where the Giants finish this year and what that looks like going forward.
I suppose with the way the Giants are sitting at the moment, everything's off the table at the moment. Let's finish the year. They're going to have to probably do a full club review, to be honest, and go, where does our whole list look? Where are we going? Have we reached the ceiling point with this playing list? Do we need to actually clean the decks and almost start again?
Adam Kingsley's fourth year in charge. He's 2-5 in derbies, by the way. And for all the fact they've had those big games, played in 3 or 4 finals and had some close results, the Swans generally have momentum, don't they, against the little brother. So it's always been the way that the Swans overall now control that head-to-head. 21 wins to 11. And even here at the Showground, the Swans have won 5-4. And 4 of the past 6 games at the Showground here, and 6 of the past 7 derbies overall. So it's been very much the Sydney Swans who have controlled this rivalry here, as we're just moments away from Sydney Derby 33. Welcome back, Daniel Garb.
Thank you. It's a really nice atmosphere down there. The crowd is coming in at a rate of knots. A lot of Swans fans, as you would imagine, but definitely the Giants supporters step out for this one if they don't for some other games. The weather is perfect, and let's see what GWS side we get today. I mean, perhaps their style suits the better teams. Maybe it's not just a mental thing that they drop off between the years against the weaker sides. I mean, they've lost to West Coast, Essendon, St Kilda and Carlton and beaten Freo, Geelong, Brisbane and Melbourne in their last 9 games. Well, that's crazy. But there must be a stylistic aspect to that, not just a mental aspect to it, Brian O'Keefe.
I think this game, both teams turn the ball over badly in bad spots and can get scored against quite easily. So I think this is going to be a turnover game. I think the last few weeks, both teams have been pretty poor around stoppages. So I don't think there's going to be a domination either way around there. But I think it's scores off turnover is going to be the key factor.
Well, that's right. And if both teams can bring pressure, then there's going to be a lot of opportunities going the other way. So I think it's who can settle best early, bring that pressure forward, turn the ball over forward to centre and score on the other end.
Really interesting team selection by Dean Cox. So Angus Sheldrick goes out. That you would imagine James Rowbottom then goes back onto the ball for extended periods. He's been playing half forward. Clearly that is a call to say, all right, we need to give Goulden, Heaney and Warner better protection in the midfield, because their stoppage numbers, they got smashed by Adelaide last week.
Yep.
How can you lose the stoppages by that much with Goulden, Warner and Heaney in there? So clearly the message is, all right, let's get Rowbottom back in there because they need a defensive midfielder to get the best out of them. It seems like there's been a big call made there.
Well, I think that's been the sort of the missing link. Heaney gets a lot of attention and he does fantastic with the jockey saddle to him each week. He gets, and Errol's not an inside sort of, but he's better on that outside and use, and then Warner can be explosive out of there as well, but can be a bit attacking and doesn't have too much of defensive side of his game. So you need to have that role player in there to sort of just balance it out a bit. So Rowbottom's at that perfect thing. I think Sheldrick's not up to it, and his ball use is, I don't think, up to the level as well. So. And who else could they throw through there, I suppose?
I think you need that big body, don't you? It's like even if he's not getting first hands, he's tackling, he's making a contest, he's making it hard for the opposition mids. And the Giants, on the other hand, got smashed in clearance as well last week as well. So it's going to be a big challenge in there for both teams.
This is the 8th game of Nick Madden's career up against Brodie Grundy. What has he learned from seeing Lockie McAndrew, and his match-up with Brodie Grundy last week, where, of course, as Garby said, they were smashed in stoppage around the ground, the Swans, and just because you have a better ruckman and win the hit-outs doesn't mean you win the footy overall.
Yeah, I mean, Brodie's been so dominant this year, really. There hasn't been too many guys that have got the better of him, but I think if you can run and jump into him and get first hands to the ball, you give your mids the best chance. It's probably the one part of the ground where you can get him is that centre square, where he's not jumping as well as a lot of those younger guys. And you've got to attack him. You've got to go hard and get first hands, give your mids first opportunity at the footy.
And also, it's a good opportunity when you, as a coach, you've got a young ruckman, you go, just follow him, because we know Brodie's really good on the follow-up and everything and around the ground as a ruckman. So you just say, you play on him one-on-one everywhere, you just try and beat him, and you'll learn off that.
The Giants have injuries, sure, but they still have the likes of Clayton Oliver, Finn Callahan in that midfield, which is where every game is won and lost. So it's not as though that's been the deficient area for personnel for their middle of the ground.
Yeah, it's your bottom half of your team. That's the issue. Like your top players, if you go through each club's top players, they're all around the mark. They're all very good players.
That's the case for Sydney as well.
Yeah, exactly right. It's what's your bottom six like, and that's what that generally determines how good your team's going to go.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the thing is as well, the Giants have been saying that for most of this year about the injuries, and it's at some point every team gets injuries. Like, you got to deal with it, you got to work through and adjust your game style or adjust your structure, adjust your personnel in different positions. So at some point you need to work past that.
Could be a big day for the likes of Harvey Thomas, who's back in this week, and Harry Rouston and those guys. Connor Stone, who of course is playing for his career, and some of those Giants guys. But I also come back to the fact that Isaac Heaney is yet to win a Brett Kirk or Kirk Ward medal. I find that so astonishing. So the likes of Errol Goulden, he's won it 3 times. Chad Warner, of course. Cal Mills won his first and only back in 2018. Isaac Heaney, for all of his dominance, has never been a best on ground in this biggest game in New South Wales. So maybe today's the day.
He was pretty good last time. Did you vote for him last time?
I think he came second to
He's
Nick Blakey last time. He was
Nick
the
Blakey
reigning
last time,
Kirk
yeah.
Ward medalist.
Yeah. Oh well. I don't know his hit list to win one of these.
I'm sure he'd like to have one.
Oh, yeah, of course you'd love to win it. I think he'd rather get his team to the grand final and win one of them, to be honest.
And that's very live as well for them, the Sydney Swans. 13 wins on the year, 14 or 15 or maybe a little bit more locks away second spot. But of course they do have a cruisy run home, albeit they have lost 3 of their past 4, the Sydney Swans, and nothing is guaranteed here as we sit in round 20. Sydney Derby 33 is just a few moments away. You can text us as always, 0437 774 774. We're up against the Hawthorn v Essendon game as well, which is at the MCG, so it's midway stage of the first term there. The Hawks 2-3-15 lead the Giants vanquishers last week, the Bombers 1-2-8. A full call of that available via ABC Listen, our app. Look for the ABC AFL button. If you're watching on TV, you can find the ABC AFL Rapid. And of course, you can listen to us here at the ground as well via ABC AFL Rapid via that button here, as well as across News Radio and ABC Radio as well. Sydney Derby 33. Break it down for us then. Ryan O'Keefe, Joel Patfull, the opening ball up is only a couple of minutes away. The teams are out there warming up. Your final couple of thoughts on Sydney Derby 33 here at the showground.
Yeah, look, as I said before, I think there's 2 teams that like to handball happy, like to sort of got one pace of going at it. So I think it's the team that turns the ball over least and is more efficient going forward is going to be the one that's going to be outscore the other. And I think it's going to be a fair shootout. It will come down to the wire. I think it's going to be a very close game.
Yeah, I think you're right. It'll be pretty free-flowing and both teams will be pretty aggressive. For me, it's that midfield battle and who can get on top. We talked about Heaney, but on the other hand, Finn Callahan's been well held over the last week, so whether Jordan goes to him and can keep him quiet, that run and dash through the middle, he's been so important for the Giants. So who can get on top of the midfield? We talked about the rucks as well. Such a pivotal part of the game as always, but particularly this one I would have thought.
Connor Ryden has won the toss, so he is their skipper today, the relatively new vice-captain, and the Giants will kick to the scoreboard end to start, while Callum Mills points to that Stadium Australia or Olympic Stadium end here at the Sydney Showground. Bright sunshine, we say about 19 degrees here as day becomes night in this Saturday twilight fixture for Sydney Derby 33 here on ABC Sport. Crowd still filing in. It's just a fantastic turnout so far. We don't tend to see all the grandstands open here at the showground, but that's certainly the case here on what is a phenomenal day for footy, and it's all to play for the Swans and the Giants here on ABC Sport. And so I mentioned last time they met here, so that was round 20 last year when Toby Green questioned Tom Papley's conditioning and all kinds of things were going on. That was a Friday night game, actually, and the Giants won that by 44 points. Finn Callahan with 21 disposals and a goal. He had 6 inside 50s and was he was the very last Brett Kirk medalist. Of course, that changed to the Kirk Ward medal in recent times here as well. But there are plenty of players for both sides out for a response after games that perhaps they each should have won last week, and to prove that in this storied rivalry, the biggest enemies aren't just themselves on the run home to September in 2026. Battle of the Bridge, the surge for second spot, the way to the wild card is plenty up for grabs here in Sydney Derby 33. And on ABC Sport, you're with Daniel Garb.
James Jordan straight to Finn Callaghan. There's that tag, the 2 number 17. Could watch that with interest. And Nick Madden in game number 8 up against Brodie Grundy. They scrap away for it in the middle of the ground. Warner brought to ground. That's a free kick against Angwin. Warner's come up limping. The ankle looks a little bit proppy. He seems to have shaken it off, Chad Warner. Goes short and finds Grundy on the wing. So the Swans move it forward to start this one. Mills dashing off half-back, the Swan skipper, pumps them deep into attack through the hands of Curnow. Quick hands though from McLean to Braden Campbell, runs around on the left and kicks the opener. Swans with the fast start. Some really slick movement around the boundary, and Braden Campbell in just his second game of the season runs around on his left and kicks the first of the derby.
That's good for Braden. He's missed a lot of footy on him back last week to get back in and hit the scoreboard early, get that confidence up. But that was nice direct ball movement by the Swans. The one handball, break the line, then get it in for a deep entry, get a contest from your key forward, and great crumbs. So, look, I think that's maybe if that's a sign of how they want to move the ball and maybe attack the deeper line of the Giants' defence.
Yeah, it always puts them under pressure, the deeper inside 50 it goes, and Campbell kicking one against Lockie Ash there early as well, put the pressure back on him.
A lad who's sort of a Western Sydney product. He was Pennant Hills, so northwestern Sydney.
Yep.
Spoke to James Petling last week post the Crows win. He's, of course, in that same part of the world. Tumble kick forward here from Oliver. Clearance Giants. Dispossessed. Mills in the Cadman tackle. Ball comes loose now for Taylor. Cuts it on there for Thomas. Steers the pass into the pocket there. Trying to find that marking target, Rajewski. Loose ball pounced on by Cornelio, who snaps and misses to the right-hand side. And it's their first score of the game. The Giants, one behind. The Swans are one straight 6. 2 minutes played in the opening terms. Saturday footy in the derby here on ABC Sport.
Good opportunity there for Cornelio, wasted as Blakey brings it back in. Out to left half back for the Swans. Picked up nicely by Sarong. Handball over the top, looking for Lloyd. The veteran regathers it. There's a free kick here, going the way of Sydney. Advantage paid.
That's downfield.
That's downfield. So it's a long way downfield, all the way to that matchup that we've been looking out for this afternoon. Taylor up against Curnow.
Yeah, I think it was against Taylor off the ball.
So it's clearly been holding the 2-time Coleman medalist in Charlie Curnow, who has relinquished top spot in that race this season to Ben King by 1. So a chance here to draw level after the free kick against Sam Taylor. Curnow with the sun, some of it still peeking through the grandstands here. Most of the ground covered in shadows. To strike this from 51, slide angle to the left. He's pulled this way left and he's missed absolutely everything. So it's not what Charlie Curnow would like early on after going goalless last week against the Crows. Swans one straight 6, the Giants one behind.
The Giants move that ball inside the defensive 50. Clayton Oliver sends it high on the defensive arc. Mills goes to Spurlong Grajewski at the drop. Sarong there for the Swans. Brought down the Himmelberg tackle. The umpire says, give it to me on that outer wing. Fans all over the place here. Red and white. Plenty of Swans fans have the journey across town. Madden palms it down here. Kept moving down there by Jack Owl. And now it's trapped by Angwin. Hand pass back to Oliver. Stringer tries to turn Rampy inside out. Now sends a hurried ball towards half forward. At the drop, Grajewski couldn't mark. Wrapped up down there by Errol Goulden. And now Cadman turns tackler again on that man in Sarong. And the umpire will board up at right half forward for the Giants. Swans lead by 5 points.
And they bound away from half back through. Chad Warner has a couple of bounces. Loops it over the top to Jordan. Quick hands to Papley. He's got Roberts supporting him. 60 out. Roberts on his left has a player on a long lead in Curnow. And he's marked in front of Taylor. And a chance for Charlie, after missing the last one out of bounds on the full, to make amends. He'll kick this from the opposite side of the 50 and strike it from about 45 out, slide angle to the right.
There's a good burst out of stoppage there from the Swans. You can see both teams are worried about their stoppages because they're bringing extra numbers up there. Both teams are sending half forwards up to the stoppage, so it's a very congested stoppage around the grounds at the moment. So if you can burst out of that stoppage bubble, there's plenty of space out there.
Curnow keen for a better effort after the last one. For the 51st goal of his season, he draws level with Ben King in the Coleman Medal race. And after going goalless last week, Charlie's on the board. The Swans 2 straight 12, GWS just the one behind. We've got 5 minutes in the first of Sydney Derby 33 at the showground.
Yeah, you're right, Ryan. It was that explosive possession from the stoppage, wasn't able to get out of the side, and then it just opened up through the centre square, and that ball movement that we're so familiar with the Swans, overlap run straight through the middle. It was Warner that took the play on, and then there's not much that Sam Taylor can do when you're getting laced out inside 50, but Charlie Curnow, 2 shots a goal, and he was involved in that first contest as well, so good to see him up about and getting involved. The more he can get involved and get on the end of the ball, the better off for the Swans.
Some MRO news, by the way, out of the Derby last night. A $2,000 fine with the early plea for Harley Reid for striking Matt Johnson in the Western Derby in Perth. Reid's elbow to Johnson's body was deemed to be intentional, low impact and body contact. So a fine for Harley Reid. Restart back in the middle here. Heaney pushed off the kick by Clayton Oliver. Grundy tries again here for the Swans. Goes to the outer side. Trapped there by Himmelberg. Gets the hand pass back to half-back, and they'll switch it across here to Connor Iden, the captain of the Giants today. Short ball by foot to Lockie Ash. Now he's got Whitfield marking in space just behind the wing on the members' side of the showground. And Adnan comes up and marks here. Slow chain here for the Giants, who trail by 11 points early on. The Swans are 2 straight 12. GWS are 1 behind. Marked out there by Jack Owl. And was he debuted a few weeks ago. Monica Oval almost overcooks the kick out there for Jayden Laverty. In fact, the umpire called play on. So Laverty steps off his line, comes back on his left peg. Pack forms. Grundy from behind on Madden. No one's paid the mark. Grundy tries again here. Gets a toe to it. Falls for Bedford. Wrapped up by Campbell, ball and all. And the umpire says, let's ball up.
The Giants want to hold possession, don't they? They don't want to play that fast game and get the rebound game for Sydney.
Swans by 11 points, 7 minutes into the first. Here's Goulden under pressure from Angwin. Got the kick away. Bouncing at centre half forward. Picked up nicely by Iden. Gets away from trouble. Handball into the middle to O'Halloran. And now Canelio drills one. The centre half forward for the lead of Krzyzewski. Turns quickly. Assesses his options. Spots up a target he likes in Cadman. There was a hand though from Canelio on the way through to Cadman. And now Cadman's caught holding the ball. Good tackle by Rampy. Now the Swans can rebound quickly. Blakey over the top. It's tapped forward for Mills. Gathers it now. Kicks high into attack. And Jordan's there, working off Finn Callahan, the tagger, and marking 49 out. Slightly worse than a 45-degree angle to the left, James Jordan. He'll go back on his mark and set himself for a shot on goal.
You'd want to kick this because he had McLean had the space over the back. It frustrates me some when they go back, take their time, they end up kicking it long anyway. You're either going to go fast or go back and hit a short target.
This will sting Callahan if Jordan can make the most of this chance. It's across the face. He had the distance through for a behind. So 2-1-13 the Swans. They've got the fast start in the Derby. Giants just the one behind. 8 minutes into the first. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Lockie Ash to kick out. Still in the top 10 for ball users in the AFL. Goes down the corridor. Callahan got a contest coming late from Jordan. At the drop, O'Halloran wrapped up down there by Roberts. We'll have a stoppage again here at half forward for the Sydney Swans. 12 points their lead, 8.5 gone here at the opening term. Madden arrives with Grundy. Callahan stuck out the boot there. Oliver surges by as well. Iden taps it away here. Rose is clever to Papley. Papley centering ball. A little too deep for McLean. Knocks it down for Campbell. At the drop there for the Giants, Bedford. Hand pass on the bounce. Works it okay for Lockie Ash. Back edge of the square. Making a contest. Great work down there from Harvey Thomas, who's brought to ground in the Harry Kyle tackle. It's ball up again here. Back edge of the square. The Swans lead by 12 points.
Grundy looking good in the ruck early, as is Oliver for the Giants around the clinches. That's a good win as he works to centre half forward. Off hands, falls the way of Harry Rouston. Long ball towards the goal square. Will it sit up for Cadman? It doesn't. And McCartan with strength just worked him under the football, gathered it, and then sent it out to Errol Goulden at right half back. He just needed a bounce to venture forward there, Cadman. It sat up and went over his head. And the Swans were able to come away with it. Goulden Up to half forward, off the hands of McLean, who made a nice contest. Gathered again, though, by Oliver, who worked it back to Xavier O'Halloran.
High spiralling ball towards half forward here for the Giants. Big sprawl from the back, Rampy at the drop. There again is Harry Kyle. Works it away here for Goulden in those new blonde tips. Works back onto his left boot and finds Grundy on the members' side. Hand pass releases Campbell. 55 from goal. Options in the pocket. Goes deep to find Curnow. And he takes the chest mark at right full forward. And it'll attempt here for his second goal today.
Well, it's 3 times end-to-end ball movement by the Swans, wasn't it? Pretty impressive. Worked their way through that Giants defence. They just haven't been able to slow them down. And Braden Campbell's looking dangerous up there. Elite ball use inside 50. He's looking sharp.
He is, definitely. And he's always had a great, beautiful left leg on him. So, but the good thing about Curnow, he's moving. He's not getting locked down by Taylor at all. So he's creating a lot of leading opportunities for himself.
Curnow opens up the ankle here on the left with the snap. And he has his second. And the Swans third of the afternoon to extend their lead. 3-1-19 Sydney. GWS are 1 behind so far. 11 gone in the opening term. Saturday footy, ABC Sport. Your experts are Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patfull.
You're right. What's he been able to do is actually, because the ball movement is so quick, he's been able to get in behind Sam Taylor, and he doesn't like that when he's not facing the footy. He's getting caught watching the ball. He's actually on Laverde with this one as well, but once you get in behind that defender, you can kind of do what you want. That lateral movement is good. He's not getting stuck in a contest, which he has been a little bit this year. He's been getting caught in a wrestle, not being able to get off that defender, so good to see. Good movement deep in the forward 50.
And because both forward lines are setting players up into the contest because they want to make it not get beaten around that contest, there's heaps of space in both arcs. So both forward lines have got plenty of space to move in and create opportunities. It's just going to be how good your ball use is going inside 50.
Swans by 18 points, 11 minutes into the first. Brodie Grundy dominant so far. 5 disposals, 3 score involvements, and he's won another free kick here. So his 6th touch coming up. Slipped over. They managed to get the handball free to Warner. He's got Heaney supporting him. Shares it by hand and they work it inside 50. A bit scrappy from the Swans, but they still have it a centre-half forward through Campbell. Got it to Rowbottom. Had the flying shot on goal. It's another one for Sydney. Danger signs here for GWS. They have been blown out in this first term. Sydney 4-1-25. The Giants 1 behind, and after kicking 2 goals last week in the loss to the Crows, James Rowbottom's on the board.
Yeah, as you said before, it's a battle of the man bun in the rucks there. So I think Brodie's obviously said, hang on the man around town here, and really making a dominant statement in there at the moment, giving them first look. But again, Braden Campbell, he's busy up forward. It's a good look. Obviously, his second game back, he's going to feel a lot more confident and reassured in his own body, and he's been really, really busy there. And yeah, the Giants, their defensive side of the game is very much left wanting.
Well, they haven't been able to stop him, have they? Either at clearance or in that general ball movement. So they're going to have to do something here. But the ruck change as well could be interesting here.
Hot start for the Sydney Swans. And there is Callum Brown on the ruck against Brodie Grundy. They'll win this clearance. Hand pass fired out wide here, looking for Connor Stone. Pressure comes down there from Jai Sarong. Mopped up now by Cootie. Off to Warner. Inside 50, here he goes. Back with the flight. Not controlled down there by Jordan. Hand pass off to Finn Callaghan now for the Giants. He handballs into space. It did miss Jai Sarong, who was taken high. And that will be Sydney's free kick. So a chance here for more punishment. The Swans to pile onto the Giants with the first 4 goals of the game so far. Jai Sarong, a free kick here from 25 out and an angle slightly right of centre.
This could be a very ugly looking scoreline if he kicks this.
Well, the Swans need to make a statement. The Giants famously are a poor first half team. They're among the worst in the comp for that. Sarong just steers this through. He made the goal umpire work. And he nails the Swans' 5th goal of the afternoon so far. 5-1-31. The Giants just the 1 behind. 14 gone in the opening term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. By the way, around the grounds, quarter time at the MCG. Hawthorn 3-5-23. Will Day has 2 of those goals. Essendon 2-3-15. And you can hear a full call of that on ABC Listen. Just look for the ABC AFL button. Earlier, Carlton beat Gold Coast by 13 points. It's now 9 straight losses for the Gold Coast Suns.
So Logan McDonald's on the wing. And they've gone a very small forward line of the Swans that I'm talking about, and they're all playing up high and just isolating Curnow. They see obviously Curnow's got the hot hand and giving as much space in that forward 50 as possible.
Swans by 30 points. The Adam Kingsley bake might have to be brought forward from half-time to quarter-time. The way this game has started. Might get a bit more embarrassing after that loss to Essendon last week for GWS, because here's Sydney go again. Bice with a handball over the top to Harry Kyle. Shares it with Bice. Just chisels one to half forward. Warner in plenty of space. Gets around a pretty soft tackle quite easily. And once more, the Swans break the Giants' attempts to corral them in. Rowbottom, and now Billy Cootie has it at half forward. This is concerning from GWS. This is a derby. Yeah. They have not brought the intensity so far. Cootie from 55 spots it up. It's marked back there by Laverty. And a chance for GWS to just take a breath. And you expect a whole lot better in a game of this magnitude. And as Harvey Thomas marks in the left back pocket, or is it Whitfield, in fact, it is Lockie Whitfield.
Especially that last little handball chamber. A good team would have shut that down. Like that was like a training drill.
Swans have the early 5-goal lead here at the showground. Ratney comes across to make a contest with a spoil. Out of bounds for a throw-in members' side. 16 minutes played here. And those outer grandstands are close to full.
Yeah, the Giants defenders have been pulled up really, really high here. They're going to have to look at what it looks like going in the next quarter.
Lean competes with Brown in the ruck. Campbell pounced on the footy here. Hand pass fired out by Riley Bice. Ball in dispute, middle of the ground. Knocked away here by O'Halloran. Picked up by Sarong of the Swans off to Heaney. Steers the pass inside forward 50. It'll bounce there in front of Himmelberg off his shin and goes out of play inside the 50-metre arc. So a forward 50 stoppage here for the Swans, who have controlled the game so far to the tune of a 30-point lead. 16.5 gone in the opening term.
Inside 50s, 10-4. Clearances, 9-3. Both in favour of Sydney. Complete domination so far. McLean works his way to the front. Boundary throw in inside 50, and then Rowbottom tackles Jack out over the line. So we'll have another throw in from pretty much the same point. So Curnow with 2 early on Sam Taylor, after going goalless last week. Can't really fault Taylor too much though. Curnow's had so much time and space to get on the lead, such has been the ease of ball movement for the Swans in this first term. Callum Brown doing the ruckwork opposed to McLean. Rowbottom back to Warner. Sends it inside 50 with the snap. Ball still alive in the right forward pocket, gathered by Cootie. But it's well smothered by his opposing number 25 in Jaden Laverty, and we'll have a boundary throw in right forward pocket for Sydney.
Both teams would be sort of happy with this situation. The Swans obviously getting repeat stoppages and fall line, but it's actually, for the Giants, it's stemmed the flow of scoring opportunities as well. So
toss back in, inside 50 for the Swans. Out to meet it. Jordan brought down the Callahan tackle. Wins the footy here for the Giants. Hand pass off here for Connor Iden. Just a hurried, hopeful kick beyond defensive 50. Too deep for Cadman. He was pressured by McCartan. It comes back to Cadman, who just tumbles a kick down the line. It falls in the lap of Harry Kyle. Right half back for the Sydney Swans. They lead 5-1-31 for the Giants, who are stuck on 1 behind. And the Swans keep the chain moving here. Kyle finds Errol Goulden. It's his 5th game back. Turned 24 last week, Errol Goulden. Spears the pass inside 50. Spilled by Campbell. Got it away though here for Sarong, and now Cadman coming through, wrapped up by Campbell. Ball comes loose. Sarong hovering for it here. The umpire saw a free kick for a high tackle, and it will go the way of the home side. Harry Himmelberg has it near full back, and they trail by 30 points. 18.5 played in the opening quarter.
Himmelberg in game 220 sends it out to the wing, marked by Ralston. And now Stringer, who infamously went zip 7 against his former side Essendon last week. His kick just bounces inside 50, just behind centre half forward. Gathered now by Riley Hamilton. Thought about the snap, gave it to O'Halloran on a standing start. O'Halloran's kick is through. The Giants are on the board. Well, Hamilton could have had the shot himself, gave it to O'Halloran right next to him. He said, don't worry, youngster, I'll do the rest. So they needed that one badly, GWS. Xavier O'Halloran with their first. They are 1-1-7. The Swans 5-1-31. Sydney up by 24 points, 19 minutes in the first term.
Yeah, just took a bit of sting out of the game, didn't they, with those repeat stoppages, and were able to get their hands on the footy and win a contested possession in their back line. So from there, they'd maintain possession and work the way up the ground, which is what you have to do when you're under the pump like this. You want kick mark, and just work your way up the ground. But it was a good finish in the end. Both teams really have had a fair bit of space inside 50, haven't they? There wasn't a heap of pressure on the ball carrier there, and both players, like you said, Garby, probably either of them could have had a shot at goal.
Last week's 100 gamer, Xavier O'Halloran. Giants needed a goal. X gave it to them. 24 points the Swans lead. About to hit time on here in the first term. Grundy palms it down for Warner. Hurries it forward here towards half forward. Shucked by Robotham. He straightens up from 50 out on the run. It wobbles back but misses left-hand side. So the Swans in no time at all with the entry and the attempt at goal from James Robotham. They lead by 25 points with just hit time on.
Both the Giants defenders ran away from Robotham.
Yeah, that was very poor defending by Lockie Whitfield there.
It was Whitfield and Ash. They're almost anticipating the handball off, weren't they, to try and get on the offense, but Robotham was too good.
He said, thanks very much, I'll go the other way. Couldn't make the most of it, though, as they send it up to the wing. That's a good mark by Madden. Well done to the young ruckman. Just his 8th game. Grundy has been really strong early on, so that'll give him some confidence. He's marked it just behind the wing. A show of confidence in him from GWS with a new 4-year deal, Nick Madden. He has serious potential. He finds Clayton Oliver just forward of the wing. Giants looking for 2 in a row. Oliver kicks to centre half forward. Grzewski flies. Grundy's back there though. Gathered nicely by Canelio. Sweeping handball to Stringer. Moves it on to O'Halloran. Tries to break free. O'Halloran does so. Gets the handball back to Canelio. Now Cornerstone. Good pressure from the Swans. And they manage to push the Giants all the way to the boundary line. And now it's a free kick against them for insufficient intent. And Chad Warner will take it. So it was a better response defensively by Sydney after conceding that last goal. They're up by 25 points late stages of the first term.
Warner goes for a trot, plays on around Riley Hamilton, kick to the outer side, off hands for a throw-in. The Giants players were signalling for out on the full, but will be a throw-in on that outer wing.
I don't know what he was thinking there. Why would you put yourselves under pressure? He's not a great kick anyway, but why would you put yourselves under pressure and waste an opportunity like that to go forward through the corridor?
Wasn't Chad Warner's best. 21 touches last week, 2 goals, and a mark of the year contender. That was amongst his best. Tries to win the footy here against Oliver. Pinballs around here, falls to Heaney, dispossessed, mopped up down there by the Swans, and now Grundy back to Bice and finds the chest of Chad Warner again on that outer wing here at the Sydney Showground. Swans by 25 points, 22 gone in the opening term, Dan Garb.
So the Giants have been able to just stem the flow of Sydney attacks and set up a little bit better defensively, but the Swans go inside 50 again, punched away from Laverde when he could have taken the mark. Bouncing ball at centre half forward. Well done by Roberts to tap it to Harry Kyle. Now Lloyd has to retreat but finds Mills under pressure. Got the hands free to Goulden. He just throws it on the boot. Deep into attack. Heaney with the fly. Got up high but couldn't take it. Clean hands by Fonte. Deep in defence but turned it over to Papley. And it's a free kick going the way of Sydney and Papley. He was dumped after getting rid of it.
Really?
He'll take the free kick from the right forward pocket, and the Giants fans do not like that. As Kingsley and Callaghan have a deep discussion on the bench. Worrying times for GWS. Papley kicked 4 last week, runs around on his left, never in doubt from there. But the Swans sharpshooter, not his best celebration, a docile one by Tom Papley standards. But it's through. Sydney 6-2-38, GWS 1-1-7. And the Giants fans unhappy with the free kick that led to the Papley goal.
I think he sort of knows he got a lucky one there. That's why he didn't want to celebrate too much. Oh, that is so soft. That is as bad as you get. Like, really? Oh, has he been watching too much soccer?
It looks like that, doesn't it?
That looked like an Argentinian dive.
Papley felt the contact from Whitfield, threw himself forward. The ball had gone.
That is
a bit unnecessary, that whistle.
So unnecessary.
Swans by 31 here in the derby.
That's why he didn't celebrate, because he knew he staged it. That's a yellow card.
At the MCG, early stages, second term, Hawthorn leads Essendon by 8 points. You're with Brett Sprigg alongside Daniel Garb, Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patwell here in Sydney. Madden wins the hit out here, but falls to Goulden first hands. Into the path of Himmelberg, Papley spins through traffic. Hand pass to the outside, picked up on the bounce by Roberts. Retreats back here to Harry Cole. Busy in this game so far, Harry Cole in his first derby. Finds Warner marking it centre half forward. Plays on, goes from 45 out. Points his kick toward the pocket there for Curnow and McLean. In fact, it was McLean down there, and it goes through next to the behind post for a throw-in. So the Giants trail the Swans by 31 points, 25 gone here in this first quarter.
We were expecting a giant response after that shock loss to Essendon as Grundy plucks it out of the air, but he's been paid the goal, advantage paid, so it's a goal to Grundy. It looked like he might have worked Madden under the ball.
It was a free kick for him, but
It was. So the advantage was paid, and Brodie Grundy puts an exclamation point on his excellent first quarter with a pure ruckman's goal, plucked it out of the air, threw it on his left, snapped it from 20 out straight in front. The Swans have another and a 37-point lead 25 minutes into this first term.
He's absolutely dominating, isn't he? We talked about the matchup before the game, and Nick Madden needs to find something here because he has no answers whatsoever. The Swans' clearance is 12-4. Centre clearance, 6-1. That's where they get. And this Giants midfield just, I don't know if they've got the talent there. They've got Angwin, O'Halloran, and Clayton Oliver lining up against Goulden, Warner, and Heaney.
yeah, I don't think it's the hit outs. It's the actual ground level stuff that they're getting absolutely taught a lesson in.
A statement first term so far from the Sydney Swans. Grundy's tap looks to find Heaney. Regathered though by Madden of the Giants. And now Thomas back to Angwin. Has a clear corridor. Goes for a couple of steps and a high kick inside 50. Spoil comes from Mills and Edwards. On the regather here, though, it's O'Halloran for the Giants. Beaten to it, though, by Grundy. Hand pass picked off now. Taylor kicks across half forward. As, again, McCartan gets first hands to it. Floats the hand pass forward now for Grundy. Hand pass intercepted by Madden. Grundy still going, breaks the Madden tackle. Warner's goal side here a long way from home. 75 from home with a bounce. Hand pass off to Papley. He's unmarked. Centering ball now from Papley to find Campbell. It bounces away from him. Roberts comes the other way. Fires on goal from 35 out. And it skids through for a minor score. Frantic build-up for the Swans. The Giants just can't defend that. 7-3-45. The Sydney Swans. The Giants are 1-1-7. We've played 27 minutes in this opening term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Brodie Grundy, 11 disposals, 7 score involvements and a goal in this first term as Ash finds Joe Fonte just outside defensive 50. The Giants need one. 4-quarter time. Oliver has support in the form of Whitfield. Moves it up to the wing and just guides it into attack. Well read by Edwards though. Brown slipped over, Cal Brown. And Edwards was able to slot in front of him and take a defensive mark at left half back.
He's been a really good find for the Swans defence, Edwards. He's been a great addition to that as a young player.
Grundy wins the contest opposed to Madden again on the wing. And sends Sydney into attack. Bouncing ball in the left forward pocket. Taylor didn't fully take it out. Nor did Himmelberg, so it stays alive in the pocket. Papley copped one high and has got a free kick. Well, that was sloppy again from the Giants. Both Himmelberg and Taylor had the chance to take the ball over. Didn't do so. It stays in. Papley puts his head over it and wins a free kick for a high tackle. And will take us a shot on goal via a snap from 30 out in the left forward pocket.
I have to say, this hasn't been a very high-pressure game. I don't think both teams aren't putting a lot of defensive pressure on.
Tom Papley runs around and misses to the far side. A let off for the Giants there, but Sydney lead by 39 points. They are 7-4-46. The Giants 1-1-7. And now a bit of biff between Papley and Iden as the Giants try to get some energy going in their game.
Yeah, I think Iden said to him, stop diving. I think he did another one, basically.
There's that Derby intensity we speak of. Remember, Finn Callaghan brings it beyond defensive 50 for the Giants. Rouston almost falls in the mark. Gathered here by Harry Cole for the Swans. Off here for Kerno on the wing. Sarong on his back with Lockie Ash and brings him to ground. We'll ball up here at right half forward for the Sydney Swans, who lead here by 39 points as we approach the half-hour mark of quarter number 1. In Derby 33, Angwin breaks through traffic. Kick goes nowhere. Picked up by Harry Kyle again on the wing. Hand pass wide to Heaney. Goes by hand now to Jai Sarong, who wastes his kick. Out of bounds on the full for a Giants ball at left half back.
It's good to see Harry Kyle. He's starting to come in, young kid from the eastern suburbs here in Sydney, getting his opportunities, looking really comfortable there off half back.
He has 7 disposals, pick 14 from last year's draft, so a fit. Showing his quality and an impact early. The Giants send it up to the wing. Grundy again with the pack mark. It's a free kick, they're going the way of the Giants, and there is a Bronx cheer. We've had a few unlucky calls, and Cadman with the decision. Moves it to Bedford at half forward. Doesn't get the bounce he would have liked though. Mills gathered it. Rouston though comes in to affect the contest, opposed to Sarong off hands. And Sarong is caught hold of the ball. So a couple of whistles go the Giants' way. Late stages of this first term. Oliver with possession number 9. Sends it into the pocket. Hamilton with a big leap. Couldn't quite take it. That was a huge effort. Spills free. O'Halloran, Canelio on his left. Kicks the goal for the Giants. They needed that badly. It was almost a spectacular mark from the high leaping Riley Hamilton. The Canelio was able to mop up and kick the Giants seconds once it hit the turf. Swans lead pegged back to 33 points.
That would have been a massive hang. That was a great leap. Stuck his knee right in the back of the frill neck lizard. It was absolutely brilliant. But they've only gone inside 59 times, and they've sort of hit the scoreboard three of them. So they've sort of made the most of the little opportunities that's gone down there.
I feel sorry for Aaron Cadman. Sorry, I think he's been working hard up there. It's that one bounce off of kicking that goal in the goal square. I think Keneally got a hand to one of the marks on the lead. He's working up onto the wings here, trying to at least get that ball forward and presenting. So he's going to have to get that work rate up and keep presenting for the Giants.
A former skipper who did the media during the week in the absence of Toby Green, Stephen Canelio, has played in his fair share of the Sydney derbies. Key goal for them. Swans by 33. Madden hand pass off to Halloran. Oliver breaks the tackle of Roberts. Got it on here to Thomas. Going inside 50 here for the Giants. It bounces out in the pocket for a throw-in.
I reckon that would have beaten Chad Warner's mark from last week had Hamilton held on to it.
Yeah, you got a great sit. That's that perfect. You just jump a little bit early, put your knee right in there and just get the little kick-up lift as the defender pops his shoulders up.
I'd love to know his high school high jump results. It must have been right up there.
32nd minute of this opening term in the derby. Back in it comes. Madden palms it down here. Bice with the Swans first hands to it. Whitfield coughs it up here in the path of Goulden. Quick kick goes up in the air. Heaney was two to beat aerially. Comes down to Anglin and he's dumped in the tackle of Rowbottom. And it will be balled up here at right half forward for the Giants, left half back for the Swans. Sydney Swans lead here by 33 points late in this opening term. Flying through Oliver. She has it with O'Halloran. Bice reaching for it now for the Sydney Swans, and now it goes out of bounds for a throw-in just inside 50 for GWS.
Clayton Oliver, 11 touches in this first term. You do wonder what if Tom Green was fit and he had someone else helping him around the stoppages for the Giants, their season might look like.
He's been fantastic all year. He's been the greatest recruit they've had for a little while.
He's fighting a lone battle quite often. Swans by 33 points. Late stages of the first term, they scrap inside 50 for the Giants, and Canelio ends up wrapping up Matt Roberts. So we'll have a ball up just inside 50. Canelio with the Giants. The second goal of this first term, the last of the game. Angwin left it behind. Heaney socketed off the ground. Ricochets back inside 50 though for GWS. Here's O'Halloran. Couldn't get the hands free. Went again. Crucial ball one. Now Hamilton on his left. Didn't get good purchase on it. And Blakey was able to gather the football and then spot Sarong still inside defence of 50. Swans by 33 points.
Sarong swings it across the defensive goal mouth here. It's marked by McCartan. Is there time in this first quarter? No. One more goal for the Sydney Swans. They did kick 7 majors in this opening term of the derby. 7-4-46 to the Giants, 2-1-13. So, as I said, a statement first quarter after their first loss at home last week against the Adelaide Crows. Those 7 goals scored by Charlie Curnow. He kicked 2, and with that he retakes the lead in the Coleman medals. Singles to Grundy, Rowbottom, Papley, Sarong and Campbell was the first of them. Meanwhile, for the Giants, Xavier O'Halloran and Stephen Canelio have their 2 majors at the first change. The Swans by 33 points here at the Sydney Showground on ABC Radio, News Radio and ABC Listen. This is Saturday Footy on ABC Sport.
Beneath the heat and dust lies gemstones, secrets and murder.
This is homicide.
Nothing stays buried forever. The suspenseful new crime drama, Treasure and Dirt. Streaming now on ABC iView.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Dashing off half back, the Swan skipper pumps them deep into attack through the hands of Curnow. Quick hands though from McLean to Braden Campbell. Runs around on the left and kicks the opener. Swans with the fast start.
And pass releases Campbell, 55 from goal. Options in the pocket, goes deep to find Curnow. And he takes the chest mark at right full forward. Curnow opens up the ankle here on the left with the snap. And he has his second. And the Swans third of the afternoon to extend their lead.
Still having a centre-half forward through Campbell. Got it to Rowbottom. Had the flying shot on goal. It's another one for Sydney. Danger signs here for GWS. They have been blown out in this first term.
And pass off to Finn Callaghan now for the Giants. He handballs into space. It did miss Josh Sarong, who was taken high. And that will be Sydney's free kick. As Sarong just steers this through. He made the goal umpire work. And he nails the Swans' fifth goal of the afternoon so far.
Gathered now by Riley Hamilton. Thought about the snap, gave it to O'Halloran. The standing start. O'Halloran's kick is through. The Giants are on the board. Well, Hamilton could have had the shot himself. Gave it to O'Halloran right next to him. He said, don't worry, youngster, I'll do the rest. So they needed that one badly, GWS. Sends it into the pocket. Hamilton with the big lead. Couldn't quite take it. That was a huge effort. Spills free. O'Halloran, Canelio on his left. Kicks the goal for the Giants. They needed that badly. It was almost a spectacular mark from the high-leaping Riley Hamilton. Canelio was able to mop up and kick the Giants second.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
and ABC Listen.
In their quest to lock up second spot, the Sydney Swans, rebounding from a loss at home last week, lead the derby at quarter time, 7-4-46 to the Giants, 2-1-13. You're with Brett Sprigg alongside Daniel Garb, Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patfull. More from our experts here very shortly. Meanwhile, at the MCG, about to hit time on in the second quarter there. Hawthorn 6-5-41 leads Essendon 2-4-16. Of course, the Hawks are one of those teams also fighting for a top two place, with a couple of big games to come. Gunston and Day each have 2 goals for the Hawks, but Mitch Lewis is out with a head knock for the remainder of that game. You can hear a full call available on ABC Listen. Just look for the ABC AFL button there. Otherwise, we'll keep you across the company here in the Saturday twilight on this glorious day in Sydney for Derby 33. The Swans by that margin, 33 at the first change. Your experts, and Norm Smith medalist Ryan O'Keefe and 2-time Brisbane Lions best and fairest and former Giant Joel Patfull on ABC Sport.
Well, firstly, it's a very low-pressure game, and both teams aren't applying too much heat around the contest, and particularly GWS are poor. They just look insipid out there. Like, they're just sort of just going through the motions. The Swans, looks like the Swans are kicking a lot more, but when they had been doing those sort of handballs and just flicking it around like at training, they should be shut down straight away, but they're not, and that's the sort of the tone of the game at the moment. So, yeah, look, if the Giants keep rolling around like this score could get very, very ugly. Because there's plenty of space in the forwards. We spoke about that they're sending both teams are sending a lot of numbers up in between the arcs around the contest. So each forward line's had plenty of space. When it has gone in there, both teams have looked dangerous and scored. But the Giants just haven't got it in there because they're not winning any contest.
No, you're right. It's almost like they're 2 or 3 metres off and just letting the play happen in front of them. There's 27 players out there who haven't made a tackle in that first quarter. Oh. So there's players running around there not really looking for contact, not making contact, or not really doing much at all. It's like the old, training cones. They're just running around, and some of those Swans players, they're too good when you give them time and space, and Warner and Goulden and guys like that running around, they're just too good with their skills going inside 50. So 4 marks inside 50 for the Swans forwards, which makes it hard. The Giants, on the other hand, haven't been able to hit a target when they're going inside 50. So you're behind the ball with that as well, and it makes it difficult. But we talked about Brodie Grundy, his dominance in the midfield, 7 clearances to 1, and they're getting them deep. Like you said, once they win it at ground level, they're strong clearances deep inside that 450, which puts the Giants on the back foot from the start. But I think it's definitely a clear shift in intensity needed from the Giants and put some pressure on these Swans midfielders.
I think the way you described it, it does look like a training session when you got your senior team out there and doing the 18-18 match sim against the reserves. And that's what it's looking like at the moment. It's we're playing, but we're not going to hurt our teammate. And that's what the game is looking like at the moment. So I'm not sure if the Giants got a bake there at guard. Did it look?
No,
like
it was just a directional message from Adam Kingsley. There was certainly no bake there. Delivered sternly as he always does, but
He might save his best behind closed doors.
Yeah, it wasn't the riot act, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The response will be interesting.
They do seem hesitant, though. I mean, they've started Finn Callahan off half-back, and I know they're trying to get away from the tag, but you've got O'Halloran, Angwin, and Oliver in the midfield. Put your best player in the midfield.
Yeah.
Have a crack.
Just fight through the tag.
Exactly.
Don't concede.
Swans by 33 points here in the derby at the showground. Grundy flies against Madden. Got nowhere near it, so Madden follows up with a hand pass to Angwin. Hurried kick to the outer side. Palmed down by Himmelberg, but Chad Warner burst through here for the Swans. Long sweeping hand pass picked up by Angwin. And now Thomas ran aground out there as well, but it was Whitfield. Ash comes off the half-back line, gets the hand pass wide here for Connor Iden, and the acting skipper on a nice pass wide to find Ralston and then the side of the showground.
Ralston goes inboard and finds Callahan. Out in front of his tagger, James Jordan. Swings onto his left, kicks into a dangerous spot, but Grundy is back there. What a game he's having. Marks in the hole, and the Swans can slingshot off half-back. It sits up for Papley in front of Ash. Takes a bounce at half-forward. Chisels one, looking for Jordan, who's working Callahan the other way now. Well done, Callahan. Watched him all the way, did his defensive job. And the ball goes over the boundary line, just outside attacking 50 for the Swans. At right half-forward, they lead by 33 points, early stages of the second term.
To the point of they're putting Callahan back. If I'm Jordan, I'm going, I've got this game, I've got this one, because they're scared of me already. It's like, all right, I've already got the upper hand here. That's just conceding defeat.
We've seen the Giants mount some big comebacks here, especially at home. Chad Warner on it from the stoppage. Left foot snap here from 40 out, tugs it a little near side. And misses. The first score of this second term is a behind for the Sydney Swans. I mentioned it, the Giants, who have losing record across both their first and second quarters this year. They're equal third best in third quarters in the competition. So we'll see if they can mount the charge here, but they can't fall too far behind.
Whitfield goes short to Iden. And now Himmelberg waits for Iden to run off him and gives it to him. Here's that Giants run out of half-back. And they managed to succeed in that endeavour through Ash. Finds Madden, and now Whitfield. That's better from GWS. Their best passage of play in this game so far. Canelio's marked at centre half forward. And now they find Bedford on the lead. So that's the best we've seen from the Giants today. Bedford will have a shot from just inside 50, 45-degree angle to the left.
And that started by a run off the deep out of their back line by Connor Iden. But what I'll say is, if I'm the Swans forward coach, Charlie Curnow, you've got to chase. You can't just let him run like that. And then Papley puts a bit of a half effort with Ash. So that's the sort of thing, if you want to be the top team, your forward pressure's got to be elite.
Bedford in game 98, the former Demon, strikes it from just inside 50. It's a wobbly effort. And it just goes through 4-0 behind. So the Swans lead now 33 points. They are 7-5-47. The Giants 2-2-14.
Blakey to kick out. Short ball to Will Edwards. In his first derby as well after his debut in round 7. Kicks down the member's side. Coming across Connor Iden. Hands for a throw-in. By the way, Hawks now lead by 38 points on Essendon at the MCG, approaching half-time there. Predictable. And of course, it adds all the more frustration around the context of the Giants season. Of course, they were beaten by Essendon last week. Trail the Swans by 32 points here at home. Down it comes for Chad Warner. Swans with his clearance. Hand pass off to Rowbottom. They beat for pace by Halloran. Hand pass back to the big man Madden. Launching off half-back is Callahan. Off here now for Stringer. And now Angwin fires it forward for Oliver. Dumps a one tackle and now brought down holding the ball. So great second effort it was down there from James Jordan. And that will now be 50 as well. The ball didn't come back to the Swans at half-back. And will take them somewhere within range.
That's a bit harsh, I think.
So it wasn't kicked long after the whistle.
No, it was just sort of as the whistle going. Like the 50-metre penalty. I think it needs to be looked at in terms of in our game, because it's such a harsh penalty for
Jordan.
Lays
off the hand pass for Chad Warner. He looks at the options inside 50. He goes acute to the pocket for Curnow. He can't get there. It goes out of bounds for a throw-in. Stoppage inside 50 here for the Sydney Swans at the scoreboard end. And that same scoreboard has them leading here by 33 points. Early stages, second term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Taylor did well in that contest. Force it to the boundary line, opposed to Curnow. Well done by Grundy. Clean hands to Heaney. Now Warner on his left from the left forward pocket. Chad Warner, that is sublime. What a finish from the Swans Dynamo. Out to a 39-point lead, and Warner with 17 touches, 5 minutes into the second term, with a fantastic finish for his first goal of the game.
Maybe he's a left footer.
Yeah.
Maybe he should kick
I
off.
was going to say that's why he's so good, but he's actually had 3 shots already where he hasn't really troubled the scorers. But on the left from the boundary line, it didn't look like missing, did it? We had a perfect view from up in the stands here, but he's been lighting it up, hasn't he? He's the one through the midfield. He's providing that spark and can finish there. That's when he's dangerous, isn't he? When he gets forward and can kick goals as well.
But he's got space. Like, no one was on him. Like that's the thing. That's why no one's go. They're worried about Heaney and they're putting a lot of work into that. But what that does to Chad, he goes, oh, how good, I've got all this space. And because he's so powerful and got speed to explode out of the stoppage, no one's dragging you. He can get out there a lot easier.
He was best of field in the derby, the first derby of last year. They start back in the middle. Goulden, the collision here with Himmelberg. That did look a bit dicey, but it's a free kick being paid to go the way of Errol Goulden. He gets up, plays on his preferred left. High bomb inside forward 50. Curnow separation on Taylor. Follows up at Brownland with a snap here, and it bounces through. No, it was touched. The Swans, I thought it was there. I saw it was touched off the boot on that lunging effort down there from the Giants defence and Sam Taylor. So it will be at least soft call behind, and I'll review this in the arc. This attempt from Charlie Curnow.
Either Curnow is extremely strong this week, or Sam Taylor's a bit off, because he's manhandled him in a couple of these contests.
That was Ash who actually, he beat Taylor, and then Ash follows up with an attempted smother, and it's this touch which we think results in a Charlie Curnow behind.
I think at half-time we'll have to go through the record books and find out the biggest margin in a Sydney derby. Well, there were some heavy ones early on in the Giants' tenure.
Clear touch, by the way. So.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
If you look at this review, and it will be a behind, because this has the makings of an absolute hammering. It's 39 points so far, but
it's lack of pressure. That's absolute lack of pressure. It looks like a training drill with the seniors versus the reserves. And that's the embarrassing thing. Regardless of the personnel you got, it doesn't take much to bring effort and pressure. You don't have to be talented to do that.
the behind confirmed, so the Swans now up by 40. 7 minutes into the second term as Ash goes short to Whitfield. Now Taylor at full back. Callahan runs off him, gives it to Oliver. No one to go to, so goes all the way back to Taylor. Now they find Laverty at right half back. That's 50 against Curnow. Oh, it's really sloppy. He's tripped him on his way through.
No, he's saying he's copped it in the mouth.
Laverty hasn't got.
Oh, and then it was the head pat as well from Curnow on Oliver. So this is the.
Could be 100 metres.
Yeah, well, I think that's what the umpire is signalling here as well. So that's the what they call it, the taunting or the. Oliver was straight away on the umpire, and he's going to get pinged here again.
This
Charlie
will take
Curnow.
Is that new?
It's been in the spotlight recently as well.
That's disgraceful.
Yeah, it's a new rule.
And you what? You can't.
I knew you weren't going to be happy with that one.
You can't have a comment against the opposition, a bit of banter, and even a tap.
Physical touching of the head and all the rest of it. So.
Touching of the head's been ruled out. So this means Laverty has been marched all the way through to 20 out. It's a 100-metre penalty to the Giants, a double 50 against Charlie Curnow, and Laverty will kick for the first goal as a GWS Giant, the defender, since moving from the Bombers. A much-needed one for GWS. He's been a really good find. He's hit the post.
Footy gods.
You're not going to get a better chance than that.
Footy gods have spoken, saying that is the worst ruling in our game.
I love that you're about to fall off your chair at the moment.
Oh my God, that's
you've had enough.
There was a case recently, actually, with the Swans, wasn't it? It was Jai Amos and Dane Rampy. So it happened a couple of times recently, and that was in the spotlight then. While Ryan O'Keefe was sunning himself up there in Greece. Warner off half-back, lays off the hand pass here now. for Goulden. He sends it towards half forward. And now bursting off half back, Fonte for the Giants. He's in some space. Rose is chasing. Fonte kicks deep inside 50 here for GWS. 2-on-1 there, outnumbered Cornelio. At the back though, coming late, Grajewski. And he's taken with pressure by Rampy to the pocket. Grajewski though gets back onto the check side. Across the face of goal. And McCartan takes the defensive grab here for the Swans, who still lead here by 39 points. We've played 9.5 minutes in this second quarter at Sydney Derby 33.
McCartan short to Bice. He's happy to go down the corridor, and Billy Cootie's in plenty of space at centre half back. So the Giants defend breach, and that is a no-stand 50-metre penalty. So Oliver had moved off the mark. That's the rule. You've got to stand your ground and not drop back into the zone. So it's another 50-metre penalty, the third in the space of 2 minutes here at the showground. And Billy Cootie will have a shot from 40 out directly in front as a result.
They make it hard, don't they? They've got to I think you're right with the 50 metres. It's almost too far. Like, the ground's only 150 metres long anyway. So like
this is a blight on our game, that our scoring is coming off the back of 50-metre penalties. It is an absolute blight on the game. It's disgraceful.
Laverty missed the chance. The dual 50-metre penalty at the other end. Can Billy Cootie make the most of this one? Yes, he can. Straight through. The Swans lead by 45 points. Cootie back into the team after a big week in the VFL. And this is embarrassing now for the home side at GWS.
Yeah, I just don't know who wins off the back of that call. Like, it's not, the fans aren't affected by the player there. Like, it's not bettering the game to give that a 50-metre penalty, and like what you said as well, a scoring opportunity and a goal off the back of a 50-metre penalty is not great to watch.
We might as well have a penalty shootout, right? Just have a penalty kick there, you get a free kick, we'll just go there and have a shot. Like, it's ridiculous, and it's literally ruining our game.
So the Swans lead by a new game high mark of 45 points here. An impassioned, aggrieved Ryan O'Keefe analysing things here on ABC Sport. As day becomes night, and all of a sudden it feels like it's a Saturday night game here. But the Swans control things with a dominant first half so far. McLean flies against Brown in the middle. Goulden gets his hands to it. Hand pass looking for Rampy, picked off by Stringer. The Giants might go on the overlap here. Bice kick was picked off now by Hamilton. Off here now for Jack Au, and he just nurses that ball in close to Cornelio, who takes a tumbling mark, 40 out directly in front.
Good lowering the eyes there. Like, Cornelio's been lively today. I see he's probably one of the senior players that's put his hand up and actually looked like to sort of get a bit of a spark going. Particularly forward to centre, he's been quite active. So, but yeah, it was off a Swans little handball turnover there. So they've got to make those opportunities and prey on those Swans turnovers when they can.
So Cornelio gave them a very important goal in that first term. Can he keep the Giants somewhere within touching distance with a set shot from 40? He does just that. A couple of goals now. The man they call Cogs. He's still a vital one on his day for the Giants. And they cut that Swans lead back to 39 points midway stage of this second term. On ABC Sport, your experts are Joel Patfull and Ryan O'Keefe. Yeah,
he's been good up there, hasn't he? He's looked dangerous, provided the contest, and finished well. He probably should have had 3. He missed that goal in the first quarter, and he's kicked 2 since then, so looking lively. But that's where they're going to get him, off the back of that turnover, forward 50. The Swans are going to keep playing that way now. They've got the results. There's space through that midfield, so they're going to keep handballing, take it on. Giants just need to press forward and create those turnovers, which they haven't been able to do so far. So it's a start. It's a long way to go.
Well done, Stephen Cornelio. Perhaps a few people questioning his future at the Giants. Talk of a potential move back to WA. Finish off his career, but he's been alongside Clayton Oliver, WS's best in the early stages. And here he is again at half forward, winning a tough ball, sprinting away, like the Stephen Cornelio of old.
Yeah, he's moving as good as I've seen for a few years.
Finds Harry Himmelberg. He'll pump the Giants inside 50. They need another one here badly. Grajewski with the lead. But Tom McCartan, opposed to him, takes the defensive mark. Read it better in the air. It's a strong grab from the leader of the Swans' defence.
You always find an extra step when there's a potential contract on the line to go home.
Short to Goulden. Out to the wing. Callahan's there. Jordan with the job on him. Well won by Callahan, but he's turned it over here. With the short snap straight to Roberts. He plays on to Bice at left half back. Back to Goulden. Both with the blonde tips in their hair. Bison cooled, and he went short to Roberts. Time to gather it to Cooney. All the way back now to Bice. Swans lead by 39 points. They've got time at half back. Bice can find Roberts on the wing.
Roberts does go and look upside inside 50 now. 3-on-2, reaching from the back, McDonald. Iden wrapped up in the fence down there by Curnow. Ball jars free, umpire says, holding the ball. So Curnow's tackle rewarded. And he'll take a set shot from 35 out directly in front.
I know you called Logan McDonald's name there, but he has not touched the stats sheet at all. It's duck eggs across the line. Like, they were playing him on the wing. Like, I'm not quite sure what they're trying to do with him. He's actually been not involved in the game one bit.
Saw a similar thing for Joel Hamling a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if he was playing up forward or down back, Joel Hamling, in that game. But obviously, no one plays forward. Charlie Curnow here will take his angled kick.
Good job.
We call the Irish style. Was it last week? Riley Thilthorpe with a fantastic drop punt from the pocket. Curnow goes on the snap here from 35 out and curls it around the post for goal number 3. He's won back the outright lead in the Coleman. And he's building that lead here with his third major this afternoon. The Swans are 10-6-66. GWS are 3-3-21. We've played 16 minutes in this second quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sports. Seeing a replay there of Curnow's tackle on Iden. Your experts here are Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Pafford.
You'd be happy with that as a Swans
definitely.
supporter and coaching staff. You've got him in there to kick goals and take grabs, but that's just a bonus when he can turn the footy over, holding the ball deep inside 50. Just adds that extra string, doesn't he? He looks like he's switched on today. He's been good. He's been involved in the game. There's some games this year he's kind of drifted through and you haven't really noticed him, but he's definitely been presenting and been a strong target up forward.
Maybe someone said to him at the start of the game, Ben King's in front now, like it might have fired him up. But your score sources are forward is marks, crumbs, and then forward pressure.
The Crows kept him goalless last week. Curnow with 3. Plenty of time until half-time today as the Giants go into attack. McCartan does well with another defensive grab. Plays on, though. It was touched. Now Kyle to Blakey in the left-back pocket. Up to the wing. Swans up by 45 points. Good grab by Iden. Stand-in captain today. Stems the flow of Swans attacks. Goes short to Whitfield. Back to Iden. Try and generate some movement off half-back. Swans back in numbers, though. Iden will have to go long, inside 50. Krzyzewski the target, McCartan there again. Blakey leaps across the pack. The reigning Kirk Ward medalist and takes a strong defensive mark from about 4 deep. And they can move it out of defence, the Swans, with a clever kick from Goulden.
Goulden off to Heaney. Goulden keeps running here through the corridor. The other hand pass off to Grundy. Little 1-2 punch with Goulden. Goes to half forward now. Patley leads up and marks on his chest, 60 from goal. Calls the play upfield. Goes inside 50, but cutting across. Set down there from Laverty. And having the right back pocket for the Giants. So good chains. Oh no, dicey kick there. Made Iden work for it. Oliver 2. Iden slips over. Paddles it away there for Callaghan. Off here on the bounce for Connor Stone. Wide here now for Whitfield, who's always a reliable ball user, and he does just that. To find the mark there of Cornelio. And the Giants survive more. Swans forward 50 pressure. Here's Cornelio. Down the line. That's where it's marked out there by O'Halloran. 100th game last week. His kick overcooked there for Whitfield. Patley comes through, makes the contest. Gets it away there for Jordan. Patley spins to the O'Halloran tackle. Off here now for Chad Warner. Hand pass inside 50. Off here for Coody, who lets fly from 40 out. And it sails through. The second goal in this quarter for Billy Coody. And Sydney's lead grows here out to 51 points. 11-6-72 to the Giants, who are 3-3-21. 2 goals now for Billy Coody in just his 5th game overall. And Sydney's command on this derby continues here as we approach half-time.
Good to see young Billy hit the scoreboard. It's a great journey and story for young Billy from the Western Jets back in the day. And unfortunately, his draft year was that COVID period and missed out, and went over to South Australia. Fought through the state leagues, and he's been given an opportunity as a mature age, and just to sort of still trying to find his way into this team. So yeah, a couple of scores on the scoreboard.
It's good to see, isn't it? It's a big turnover through the middle as well, and just the reaction from the Giants players. There wasn't much intensity at back. It just kind of sums it up, doesn't it? Lockie Whitfield and Clayton Oliver almost got concrete in their boots.
Advantage paid. Goulden with another disposal, and he's found Curnow on the lead, and the mark is paid. So Errol's up to 19 touches. He is cruising through the middle, with no one near him. And Curnow has marked that out in front of Taylor. He'll kick from 50, 45-degree angle to the left in search of his fourth major.
If I was Sam Taylor, I would be filthy with Lockie Ash. Lockie Ash could have gone back, put his hands up and stopped that. That's just to the point you just made before, Joe. They just got no interest in being in the contest at all, and that was absolutely poor teammate performance there.
The Swans are bullying the Giants at the moment. Big brother over little brother here in Sydney. Up by 51 points. The Coleman medal leader, Charlie Curnow, strikes this in search of his fourth and pulls it to the left. So Halloran before missed the target and then missed the tackle on Papley. And Papley let him know about it. It actually got, I was watching it closely, the verbals got brutal. Not one Giants player ran to Papley to remonstrate. They are winning the mental battle, the physical battle, and everything in between at the moment, the Swans.
Midfield to the outer side for Connor Stone. The second ever game was a derby back in 2021. That was a win. This is actually his second derby, so it's been a long time between derbies for Connor Stone. Swans win the football back. Lloyd Bottom and now Lloyd runs straight into Whitfield, dispossessed in that tackle. And come back here for the Giants at left half back.
Well, and that's the one you want to see.
Yeah.
You need to see your senior players making those big tackles.
Waiting for it. Cross comes Blakey. With the ground ball here, got a shot from Bedford too high, which will be a free kick for the Sydney Swans.
So you can take someone's head off and you only get a free kick. You'd sort of tap and rub someone on the head and you get 50 metres. Like, how does that make any sense?
Blakey drives this into the pocket. And it's marked overhead by Papley. Well, he is enjoying this, Tom Papley, rubbing salt into the wounds of the Giants. He'll have a shot for his second from 45 out, slightly worse than a 45-degree angle to the left after a really strong overhead mark.
Yeah, that was a great set of hands. Come out and clunk it like a key forward. It's beautiful.
He relishes these situations, inflicting some pain on the crosstown rivals. It's a great kick from Blakey. We might just get a serious Tom Papley celebration if he can send this through. Put the margin out to 10 goals. 22 minutes into the second term. Papley's kick is across the face. Out of bounds on the full. Swans lead stays at 52 points.
The Giants have to get going here because things are getting more and more desperate to forlorn for them. Here they come with Connor Iden. Reacting skip up beyond defensive 50, 2-on-2. Edward wins it down there for the Swans, but Stone bursts away here for the Giants. Off it comes here as Edwards lays the tackle there on Cadman and pins him on the wing. The ball up.
He's a big man, Edwards. He's a brute of a man. Cadman's not a small guy either, and he just absolutely manhandled with a huge bear hug.
His first game in round 7 after 4 years in the VFL. Will Edwards, rugby background, perhaps. Gordon goes down towards half forward. Watching the Swans Academy. Now Heaney, speaking of Academy players, goes to half forward. Papley marks at centre half forward. Plays on quickly, has an option out wide with Jake Lloyd, and he controls things 40 out from goal on the 45-degree angle.
Just doing what they please, aren't they? They're finding targets at will inside 50. Jake Lloyd to get that much space inside 50, there's got to be a breakdown in their defensive structure. So they're just literally hanging on for half-time here, the Giants.
Oh, I think so, yeah. Couldn't come quick enough for him.
290th game for Jake Lloyd. He's played the 6th most games for the Swans all time. Lloyd is 6, Rampy is 8, Ryan O'Keefe is 7. Here comes Jake Lloyd. Two-time best and fairest winner. Kicks from just inside 50. As we approach half-time, he misses near side. Extend their lead, but only by 1. 53 points. 11-8 plays 3-3. We've played 24 minutes in this second term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Whitfield spots up Harvey Thomas. Giants try to get some run off half back. Thomas to Iden. Having the lead is Cal Brown. That's his first touch of the game, the Irishman. Just backward of the wing. Swans by 53. Angwin. Now Oliver on the logo. Back to Angwin. Well smothered by Jake Lloyd. Edwin wins it back. Looks for Oliver. Turned his back on the football. Managed to work it forward again. Scrappy this. Stringer couldn't handle it. Goulden can. Gave it off to Bedford though with the turnover. Swans just work harder. Heaney to Rowbottom. Now Goulden over the top to Heaney. Great hands. Got away from a would-be tackler. Pops through over the top to Roses. Now Blakey inside 50. Chips through over the top. Papley's taken the mark. Gives it again to Blakey. Here's the training drill. They've done too much though. Back to McDonald. He finishes it off. That is an humiliating passage of play for GWS. If the goal is given, it might be. We'll go and review this. But either way, training drill, I think it is touch. Training drill's a cliche.
Yeah,
Wasn't that every single bit of it?
they were taking the mickey there, weren't they? But
I think training's harder sometimes than that.
yeah, but why give that, that's just... If you want to be I'll keep reinforcing. If you want to be the best, and you have to beat the Fremantles and up and about Brisbane and Hawthorn, you've got to do everything all the time to the top level.
So, the Giants have it with Fonte. Clears it wide here for Connor Iden. 54 points is Sydney's lead here. That's 9 goals as we approach the halftime sirens. A few minutes away. Stringer to atone for his 7 behinds last week. Goes wide to find Whitfield. Room to bounce off right half back, and now a second bounce. He's wasted the kick on the half volley. It's picked up by Heaney of the Swans. Hand pass off the Papley. He's dumped in that stringer tackle. And now Umpire will ball it up. Just some further background on that taunting rule. Of course, it came in early season after the Pat Voss Harrison Petty, so Freo Melbourne. And then there was the Sydney Freo I mentioned as well, where it was not just the Rampy and Jai Amos, but Chad Warner got a free kick when Luke Ryan rubbed him on the head. So there's the background for you, Ryan O'Keefe. Campbell off to Goulden inside 50 here for the Swans, but Iden wins the contest against McLean. The Giants will go again from the back pocket.
He goes to Ash, sends it out to left half back. Bedford will mark. Kick to half forward. Cadman the target. He hasn't been involved at all, Aaron Cadman. Want a free kick there. So searching for form a bit. Just 6 goals in his last 5 games. The former #1 draft pick. Goes short and finds Lockie Ash. 65 out, left half forward. Swans up by 54 points in Derby 33. Approaching half-time, Cal Brown's taking the mark. 35 out straight in front. So the Swans perhaps relaxing a little bit defensively. And Cal Brown can have a shot for a much-needed major for GWS.
This is where they need Cal Brown. He's actually been okay the last couple of weeks when he can provide that contest inside 50. He's got a good set of hands. Usually a pretty solid set shot at goal as well, but it's, he kicks a couple of goals in the games that don't mean much. You need him to stand up in these big games.
The Browns straight in front to bring the margin shy of 54 points. He has managed to do that. Excellent kick. So Swans lead 48. Cal Brown's been quiet so far, but it was a nice mark and converted effort.
I think to your point, Gar, I think the Swans totally switched off the feed. I think he was expecting contact when he went for that mark and didn't get anything. Look, there's heaps of players. No one's sort of gone for the ball at all. I think he's quite surprised he took the mark so easily. Yeah, I think half-time needs to come for both clubs just to sort of recalibrate and we get a bit more of a physical contest coming after half-time.
Sometimes that happens, doesn't it? When it almost gets too free-flowing and a bit chaotic, both teams can kind of lose their structure and lose their way a little bit. So I think you're right, a bit of a reset at half-time. 9
goals in 4.5 games for Cal Brown. Kicked 3 goals in his last home game here against the Cats. By the way, half-time at the MCG, Hawthorn 9-8-62 leads Essendon 2-5-17. More details on that at half-time of our game. Out of the ruck, Grundy snatches it, kicks to the outer side. Lloyd gives chase in the contest with Thomas. Thomas gets there first but loses the football. The veteran Lloyd gets there, ignores the option of Roses and finds Campbell, although Campbell can't control it either. It's I thought it was off the boot, but it will be just a throw-in on the outer side of the Sydney Showground. 21-minute mark of this second term. 11-9-75 plays 4-3-27. It's the Sydney Swans with second spot at their beckoning. They consolidate that and take a long stride to those two home finals. Chad Warner, Isaac Heaney. His kick to find Campbell. Didn't too hot for him. Recovers it though with a high ball up. It's punched away by Rouston of the Giants. Coming the other way, Blakey. His kick was picked off here by Halloran, and now they go through Rouston the Giants. A bit of a pass to find Bedford on the point of the square. Goes inside 50 and Stringer marks all by himself 40 out. He goes closer to home. I'll raffle it here, Oliver and Thomas. And Thomas does indeed take the mark for the Giants in that left forward pocket.
This midfielders spread much harder for the Giants there from that contest to go there, and the Swans are just sort of trailing in. But what's starting to creep into that Swans game is this extra forward handball. Heaney did run earlier to Papley, got tackled. Jake Lloyd there, and instead of kicking and what they were doing a lot earlier and being a lot more direct, it's starting to creep back in the game because of that lack of pressure. Like, they can get away with stuff which they won't be able to when the heat's up.
Their only change this week, Harvey Thomas came back in for the skipper Toby Green, who's out injured. This set shot with his left boot, and he misses near side. The Giants need every single opportunity if they're to be anywhere near competitive in Sydney Derby 33. The Swans lead by 47 points as we approach the major break.
Not sure Adam Kingsley bothers with a break at half-time.
Yeah.
Those ones where you go, well, what's the point?
Exactly right. I was thinking the same thing as you, Garbs.
You might have to just hand it over to the players and say, sort this out yourself. Nothing I can say can do much. Surely it's pretty obvious the effort needs to be a lot better. Here's Rampy, just behind centre half-back. It's for Edwards at left half-back. We get close to half-time. Edwards up to the wing, looking for McDonald over his head. Supporting him, though, is Campbell, the first goal of the game. Handball over the top to McDonald. And now working off him is Roberts. He'll just centre it to a dangerous spot. McLean with both hands, couldn't bring it down. Tapped it back to Roberts. Now Grundy. Slick handball to McDonald. He's got time to take a snap and kick another for Sydney. Once more, the defensive effort from GWS, so poor. And it's Sydney with a 53-point lead in Derby 33 as we approach half-time.
They just can't make a tackle, can't they?
No, they
can't
just ran
hit a
there
body.
and stream, they just stream through there.
It's almost like there's players out there avoiding contact at the moment. It's just like they do not want to get involved in the physical side of the game at all. And there's a few guys up there that need a set up. I'm watching Harry Himmelberg on the wing. Like, put him centre half back, put him in the play. He just has not been involved in the game at all. He's one of your senior players, a big body. Get him involved. At least you need someone to stand up and get the ball going back the other way. But there is just a total lack of effort and intensity, isn't there?
Oh, you're spot on. And you need that from your senior players. I'm not sure playing him on the wing, particularly when you're not winning the ball or moving it by foot, you can get sort of lost out there and not have any impact on the game at all.
For a disallowed goal a short time ago for a touch off the boot. And he does get a major here for the Sydney Swans. Anglin dumped in the running tackle centre field. And now off to Chad Warner. Heaney works his hand pass forward. Campbell beaten to it by Lockie Ash. He goes bounding off half back here for the Giants. Second bounce now for the defender. Off here for Fonte. Right, got the hand pass away though. Off to Lockie Ash. Back to Fonte. Spins Kerry McDonald, also McLean, and Fonte has some time here. His kick just goes high and desperate down the middle side of the ground. Free kick for Hall, all by the Giants' way. Cadman just spawning halfway. Is there time in this first half? Long towards full forward. Bedford slips over. Out the drop there. Hand pass comes to Halloran from Thomas. And the half-time siren beats them. And the Giants have been beaten across the first hour of footy here on their own deck at the Sydney Showground. 12-9-81, the Sydney Swans lead the Giants 4-4-28. The margin 53. Goals in this game so far. 3 goals, 2 for Charlie Curnow. His 7 disposals. 2 goals for Billy Cootie. Singles to Warner, Rowbottom, McDonald, Papley, Campbell, Grundy and Sarong all on the board for Dean Cox's man. Meanwhile, for the Giants, 2 goals for Stephen Cornelio, singles to Callum Brown, Xavier O'Halloran also on the board as well. Sydney's lead grew from 33 points at quarter time to one stage as high as 54. It is on here with Papley in the middle of this with Stringer. And players surrounding them as the players walk off side by side just about for half time. The umpires are having a hard time splitting them.
Don't pat anyone on the head, whatever you do.
Everything looked fine, and then Tom Papley ran around from where the Sydney players had gathered and went straight to Jake Stringer, and that has sparked all of this.
Well, this is the fight the Giants fans and their coach perhaps wanted to see earlier in this game, but they still trail by 9 goals as the last of those players are split. There was a little push there from Laverty on Brodie Grundy, and the Swans make their way to their tunnel, and the Giants do likewise here as well. But they've had their Origin charcoal colours lowered across the first half of footy here in Sydney Derby 33. To pick it all apart for us here at the Sydney Showground on ABC Sport, your experts are Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patfull.
Oh, well, we've spoken about it nausea. I think that quarter of how the lack of pressure and physicality and willing to put their body on the line, like in tackles from the Giants, and the Swans are just looking to make it like a training drill. As I did mention now, because there's low pressure, you can see some sort of. It's understandable, but as I said, I expect high things from this Swans team to make it all the way deep into September. That you've got to keep that bar high, but I just let those things creep in, like that extra forward handball, and let uncontested marks in the forward line. So, but the play just late in that quarter, which typifies how the Giants play, and I would hate to be a Giants forward like Cadman or Strick. They're just bringing like handball and like kick the ball to them, like give them an opportunity. Like you're not going to win the ball unless you're going to get it inside 50, and give your forwards at least a one-on-one opportunity just to fight for it. Otherwise, they're just doing it. It's just junk. It's just, I don't know. They're trying to rack their own possessions up so it looks good on their own stat sheet. It just looks selfish to me.
Well, it's almost like they got caught in between two different modes of play, didn't they? They'd started the game and they wanted to kick mark, and that didn't work. So then they've gone back to some run and handball, and they look like, nothing. Well, obviously nothing's working, but they look unorganised, and like we've talked about a lot is the lack of pressure. And you do feel sorry for Cadman, because I think he has tried and he's presented, and he's at least giving a contest up forward. But I mean, there's just too much space for that Swans midfield. They're just cutting through the middle, and like I think they took their foot off the pedal the last 5 minutes, like what you said, and that probably reflects where they're at as well. If they're a top 4 team, they would have smashed. They would have kicked another 2 or 3 goals then and just put this game to bed. Yeah. But they didn't. They let the Swans kick. Let the Giants kick a goal, and where if the Giants are in the game or not, you still just give them a little bit of a sniff by getting that goal and taking the foot off the accelerator. So, they just got to. The Giants have to clamp down and just put some pressure on and make some tackles and close that space. It's almost like if they're not tagging someone, they're just not playing anywhere near them. So it's like you don't have to tag someone to be playing on someone. So you just need to put some pressure there and try and create a contest. Get a few stoppages in a row, get some pressure around the ball, and then get it moving forward from there.
This is the most un-Derby game I've seen. Mate, okay, this is almost like the very first one had more spite and the young kids of the Giants then put way more pressure on than I'm seeing here.
So that's probably a discussion for after the game, but you watch this, you look at the loss to Essendon last week, the change in the list that's coming, Adam Kingsley, in his 4th season, and you go, all right, well, it's a really interesting moment for the coach, because this performance is insipid, and he's going to go into next season under a bit of pressure. I know they've had a lot of injuries, but I think it's a massive watch now, even at this point in the game, just half-time, as to where everything's at under his tenure right now.
Well, the interesting, I'm not one for you got to change the coach.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it's interesting.
No, but there's let me finish to a couple of points. Either you've got to clean out a heap of players and get some fresh blood in and whatever it is, but we have, for his game plan, he hasn't budged on it for a number of years now, and it doesn't work. And it's, even when he had a full list of players and are playing really good footy, it's still not the game plan that's going to get them over the line. So unless he changes the mindset of how they play, I don't think his game style is going to take him any further. And then other players going, this doesn't work. And as a player, it can get very frustrating. It's like, this our game style is not working. We're trying to do what the coaches are telling us, and it doesn't work. So, it's...
Well, I think you're right. Like, game style is one thing, but then effort and energy is another, like we were talking about, Garby, as well. And whether there are players questioning, it definitely looks like there's more going on than just, the right players aren't there. There's something going on behind the scenes. I think people are starting to question what's happening at the club. Like, there's some big calls coming up. Like we said, there's players that aren't being offered contracts, what that looks like in the change room. So there's definitely more going on behind the scenes, I think.
I was watching at quarter time, that huddle, and maybe you can read into this stuff too much, but senior players like Lockie Ash and Harry Himmelberg, they're kind of turning their head when the coach was talking, looking at other things, looking a bit disinterested, and you can read into that too much sometimes. But then you see the way in which they step out in the second half and the second quarter, and there just seems to be a complete lack of interest in this football match, a derby right now from GWS.
The Jekyll and Hyde Giants, one of their worst halves of footy of season 2026, trail by 53 points at half-time here at their home ground, the Sydney Showground in Derby 33. Just to recap the earlier situation at the MCG, and I think we are not quite, in fact, yes, third term underway there. Hawks led by 45 points at the break. It's now a 40-point buffer in the way of Hawthorn. 9-9-63 plays Essendon 3-5-23. A reminder, you can find a full call of that available on ABC Listen via the main ABC AFL button. Mitch Lewis out with concussion from that first quarter I mentioned. He ran into the back of the head of Day Wicks, Archer Day Wicks. Jordan Ridley out with a foot injury to make matters worse for the Bombers. 6 goals to zip in the second term before half-time. As I said, 45 points it was at the major break there at the MCG. Hawthorn now leads by 40 points early stages of the third term. And repeating earlier at Docklands, Carlton 16-14-110 beat the Gold Coast Suns 15-7-97. The Suns have now lost 9 straight. What that does for the Carlton Football Club is it puts them up into 10th. So they, in fact, jumped up over the Giants, who will also now sit back in 12th on percentage on that live ladder. So if things don't get better here for Adam Kingsley's men in the second half at home, then they will find themselves languishing further down that ladder behind the likes of St Kilda and potentially North Melbourne on percentage as well. And that will have you asking serious questions of the Giants' run home and their capabilities for any possibility of September football. The Swans by 53 points at half-time here at the Showground. We'll go around the grounds and check a few other things as well happening very, very soon. But right now it's time for the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. US President Donald Trump has taken a barbed aim at the press and his political adversaries in a speech at the delayed White House Correspondents' Association dinner in Washington. Larry Buttrose takes up the story.
Mr. Trump began by praising Victor Gonzalez, the Secret Service agent who tackled and stopped a gunman from entering the dinner in April. That caused the event's postponement until now. He also said political violence was not the American way, but free speech and robust discussion were. But later, he hit out at the room packed with journalists.
This is really the largest group of Trump derangement syndrome people ever put together at one time, I suspect.
But as many of his jokes fell flat, he questioned the ability of his speechwriters. And after one bombed, he said, "That was actually the only thing I thought was good in this whole freaking stupid speech."
United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres is to visit Syria later today. It'll be the first trip by a serving UN chief since the start of the nearly 14-year war that's killed hundreds of thousands of Syrians and displaced millions. The visit represents a milestone for Syria since rebels ousted former strongman Bashar al-Assad in late 2024, ending the war that began in 2011 and launching a transitional period steered by an Islamist-led leadership. Residents in the Cuban capital Havana have banged pots in a nighttime protest after a call for a demonstration about living conditions spread on social media. The protesters are demanding the restoration of electricity and water services amid the country's deepening infrastructure crisis during a choking US fuel blockade. It's the latest in a series of small-scale demonstrations across Havana in recent weeks, driven by deteriorating living conditions. Back home, and 3 people have died in separate car crashes in Western Australia over the past 24 hours. Andrew Hanlon has the details.
Shortly after 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon, a man was driving on George Road near Boddington when his car left the road and struck a tree. The man died from his injuries at the scene. About 5 minutes later, in a separate incident, a 46-year-old man crashed his car into a tree on Brand Highway in Cape Burney, south of Geraldton. He sustained critical injuries and died at the scene. And a 30-year-old female passenger has died following a crash between two vehicles on Tonkin Highway at the intersection of Mills Road West in Martin, shortly before 11 o'clock last night. She was rushed to Royal Perth Hospital with critical injuries, but couldn't be saved. Any witnesses are asked to contact Crime Stoppers.
People are being warned of an increased presence in the small Victorian town of Donald over the next few days as detectives continue investigating the alleged murder of a teenage girl. A 16-year-old boy was charged earlier this month after detectives searching for missing 13-year-old Layla Jeffrey found human remains in Donald in the state's west. Police say detectives from the Missing Persons Squad will be conducting a new search of the Donald area over the next few days as part of the ongoing investigation. The leadership team of the New South Wales health system could be losing the support of doctors at a major hospital in Sydney's inner west. Tony Ibrahim has more.
Senior clinicians at Concord Hospital will decide on Thursday whether to move a formal vote of no confidence in the leadership of the state's health ministry. The vote will also decide if there should be a formal inquiry into the authority's governance. The doctors say governance issues are going unreported out of fear of reprisals. In 2023, the Medical Staff Council previously passed a vote of no confidence in the chief executive of the local health district. Among their concerns were thousands of unreported radiology scans. The chief executive changed roles less than a year later.
Queensland researchers say thermal drones and innovative tracking collars have been a game changer as they address declining koala populations across the state's southeast. The drones are used to search for koalas in Brisbane koala bushlands before they're captured and given a thorough health examination, while any healthy youngsters in need of a new home are fitted with a GPS collar before they're released back into the wild so their movements can be tracked. University of Queensland researcher Dr. Sean Fitzgibbon says it means they can respond immediately if an animal's in trouble.
It has really helped us, and a few times I think it's saved koalas' lives where we've found, okay, that koala's not moving, we've got to get out there, and we've found a sick koala that might have died in the next few days if we hadn't responded to that GPS signal not moving.
Okay, let's do it. The ABC Listen app now has a space just for kids and families. Ooh. The only place for new episodes of Bluey Listen Along. Radio, podcasts and routines. I love it. Everything families need anytime on the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Clean hands to Heaney. Now Warner on his left from the left forward pocket. Chad Warner, that is sublime. What a finish from the Swans dynamo. Carton short to Bice. He's happy to go down the corridor, and Billy Cootie's in plenty of space at centre half back. So the Giants defend the bridge, and that is a no-stand 50-metre penalty. So Oliver had moved off the mark. That's the rule. You've got to stand your ground and not drop back into the zone. So it's another 50-metre penalty, the third in the space of 2 minutes here at the showground. And Billy Cootie will have a shot from 40 out directly in front as a result.
This is a blight on our game that our scoring is coming off the back of 50-metre penalties. It is an absolute blight on the game. It's disgraceful.
Can Billy Cootie make the most of this one? Yes, he can. Straight through. The Swans lead by 45 points.
We're on two, reaching from the back, McDonald. Hyden wrapped up in defence down there by Curnow. Ball jars free, umpire says, holding the ball. So Curnow's tackle rewarded. He'll take a set shot from 35 out directly in front. Curnow goes on the snap here from 35 out and curls it around the post for goal number 3. Off him out for Chad Warner. Hand pass inside 50. Off here for Cootie, who lets fly from 40 out, and it sails through. The second goal in this quarter for Billy Cootie.
Back to Roberts, now Grundy. Slick handball to McDonald. He's got time to take a snap and kick another for Sydney. Once more, the defensive effort from GWS, so poor.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Sydney Derby 33, and it might just be The night that we start to really think about where the Giants sit in the grand scheme of things as far as their final prospects and their finals prospects and wildcard spots in season 2026, because the Sydney Swans lead this crosstown rivalry by 53 points at halftime here at the Showground. You're with Brett Sprigg alongside Daniel Garb. More from our experts Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patfull very, very soon as well. I mentioned what's happening at the MCG, where Hawthorn in fact now leads by 53 points on Essendon. So 11-11-77 for the Bombers, who are 3-6-24. And that has the Hawks still trailing the Swans by half a game in second spot. So, of course, Freo, our runaway minor premiers in waiting. The Swans, of course, still sitting second. And that's what underlines the importance of their run home as well, with some potentially easy kills, although the Swans have lost 3 of their past 4 and doing all the right things so far in this game against the Giants to hang on to second spot. Hawthorn with that win, or with that handy lead and likely win against Essendon, will be third, still sitting half a game behind them. Of course, Hawthorn plays Brisbane, which is handy for the Sydney Swans because one of those teams has to lose, and that would give them a little bit more breathing space as well, the Swans, with their next game to come against St Kilda at Docklands on Saturday afternoon, which starts their final month of opponents. That's the situation there. Earlier, Carlton beat Gold Coast by 13 points at Docklands. That's now 9 straight defeats for the Suns. Coming up later on, it'll be the Bulldogs up against Richmond. Just on other things happening around the place in the NRL, where there is a game happening currently next door. The Bulldogs 12 lead the Warriors 0 after half an hour there. Earlier in Canberra, the Raiders 56 beat West Tigers 10. Cowboys v Broncos still to come. Of course, you can hear all this via ABC Listen on the ABC Sport button. In the NRLW, Gold Coast 22 leads the Cowboys 6 at half-time. Earlier, the Bulldogs 28 beat the Dragons 8, and Sharks 22 beat the Canberra Raiders 10. Here at the Showground, the Swans have made their way out, and the Giants not too far away as well. Just on the VFL, and a couple of times in that first half, Ryan O'Keefe, you mentioned reserve grade players and AFL versus VFL. Well, the VFL wasn't much chop for the Giants either. The Swans won that 25-18, 168 to the Giants, 14-6-90, the VFL curtain raiser. Did I see that Trent Dennis-Lane was playing for the Giants? So, yeah. Former teammate of yours, he played a marvellous 29 games, I think, for the Swans way back when. He last played 12 years ago. He's 37 years of age now. He's a Giants development coach, and he pulled the boots on and played for the Orange team today.
Well, that goes to show the state of the club. When you got your development coach at 37 needs to go fill in for your VFL and kick straight for you. Like in all seriousness, it's a bit of a crossroads for the club, I think, where they're at. You can't hide under the injury and we haven't got players and all this sort of stuff. That happens everywhere. But it's a bit of a big decision end of the year. What's going on in this club.
How do they, before we can sort of eulogise their season, I mean, how do they focus on the here and now, this next hour of footy? It's
contest. Like, it doesn't take talent to bring effort and commitment and just have a crack. Like, make it a one-on-one game. Go, all right, let's just... Everyone's responsible for an opponent, and you just got to beat your opponent. And as simple as that. And sometimes I think we complicate the game too much with a lot of game tactics and stand. But when it comes to the real nuts and bolts of it, it's a contest game. So midfielders, get on your player, just beat your opponent. Defenders, just go for it. So make it as simple as possible for your players.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, that's where it starts. It's a starting point at least. And you go from there. First 5 minutes, lock down, find your opponent, create a contest. The Giants have had 18 tackles in the first half. So not only are you getting beaten convincingly, you can't make a tackle, and that just flows on through the game. Like you see, you give it that 1 metre, 2 metres, the next handball connects. There's no one that's actually enforcing that. We saw Lachie Whitfield make one tackle, and it stood out because he made contact, drove the tackle, holding the ball. There's been so many missed tackles that they just haven't been able to do, and it just releases the pressure from the Swans one more time. Releases the pressure, before you know it, it's inside 50. So you're right, start with the contest, make some tackles and go from there.
Swans by 53 points. That's a higher margin than the last 8 derbies. Final siren margins, of course.
Yeah.
73 points the Swans won by in 2022.
Into the second half we go here at the Sydney Showground on ABC Sport. You are with Daniel Garb.
We see a response from GWS. Madden down to Oliver. That's a lot better. Now O'Halloran sends GWS into attack. Cadman the target. Well done, Edwards. Front position. Took the mark in that contest. So Aaron Cadman's got plenty of work to do, along with several of his teammates, to say the least. It's Blakey getting it from Edwards. Shares it with Weiss. Grundy hit the turf. Free kick against Brodie Grundy, who has been dominant in this first half, or in the first half. Goes the way of Madden, along with Errol Goulden and Chad Warner, the three best on the ground. Madden's kick deep into attack over the head of Edwards. Goulden tracks it back. Stringer gathers it, got free and found Coniglio. And he's got his third. Well, that's much better from the home side. Jake Stringer with some strength. Won the football. Coniglio ran past, and he's been fantastic in an otherwise poor GWS side. He's now got 3 goals here in Coniglio, margin back to 47 points in favour of the Swans.
Spoke in the first half how he's been the lively one all game, and looking up and about and providing some particular spark, particularly up forward. So that's good to see.
Yeah, talking about contests as well, though. Nick Madden on the wing with Brodie Grundy forced a contest, got a free kick. Ball goes back inside 50 and creates that pressure. So it's those little things. When you can win those one-on-one battles, it turns the game quite quickly.
Maybe there wasn't Adam Kingsley Bake at half-time.
We needed the Ryan O'Keefe faker, and we should have sent him there.
Yeah. 12-9 plays 4-4. The Giants strike first in this second half. Can this start something? Now prone to a better second half performance and a big comeback. Heaney's hand pass, stolen away by Oliver. Dumped in the Jordan tackle. The ball comes loose. Umpire says no, holding the ball. So Jordan does win the free kick here for the Sydney Swans. And they'll go forward of halfway. Long ball down the corridor. Curnow in the contest with Taylor. Second bite. Did so well. Just out-muscled Sam Taylor. Curnow can respond here for the Swans. He's 40 out. Very slight angle right of centre.
This is a good scalp for Curnow, to be honest. I know there's been a lot of namesayers. He's a flat track bully and only kicks goals against. But Sam Taylor is a top-class defender, and he's won a few one-on-ones against him. So this is a really good sign for Charlie.
At least because he's taken back his individual needed the Coleman medal with 3 goals in the first half, but he's such a key part of what they're doing in attack, the Sydney Swans. I'd argue he is the key figure. Here he is, he crosses the 50 for his 4th, and he steers it through. 4 goals for big Charlie Curnow. And the Swans get the immediate response on Coniglio's goal at the other end. And they're back out to 53 points, early stages, third quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport in the Derby. Your experts are Joel Patfull and Ryan O'Keefe.
Yeah, he's up and about, isn't he? And it's good to see. They're genuine one-on-ones too. Like you said, he's not getting them out the back. He's not getting easy ones in the goal field, which he has had a few this year. But that is as big a one-on-one contest win as you get against Sam Taylor as well. As we know, such a good one-on-one defender, and he would be absolutely hating that Sam Taylor. But there's not much more you can do when Charlie's just too big and too strong.
Well, what's actually looked all right and looks only 2 talls up there, Charlie and either McDonald or McLean, not the 3 up there, and they've gone with the other smalls. It's actually looked a little bit more balanced and given Charlie and the other forward a lot more space.
Goalless last week. Curnow has 4 as Grundy wins it out of the middle. Punched away from Himmelberg, inside attacking 50 for the Swans. The bounce sits up for Sydney. McDonald, well tackled. Tackle needed to come. This is better energy from the Giants. Whitfield's kick is smothered. Gathered by Bedford. Back to Oliver. Madden left it behind on hands and knees. He's able to regather it. His handball out wide is now picked up by Roberts. Angwin tackles him. So can they sustain this, GWS, and redeem some pride for the remainder of this second half? It'll be a big watch. Swans up by 53 points, but it's been a better start from GWS.
They did the work in the first half, the Sydney Swans. Grundy dispossessed, and Anglin sees it out of bounds for a throw-in. A bit like a microcosm of their season, the Sydney Swans, who of course have that second spot sort of in their keeping, despite an indifferent form line of late. Umpire tosses it back in. Grundy and Madden in the ruck. Callahan reaching for it. Wrapped up in the Jordan tackle. Just gets some kind of kick away. Toe poke toward Connor Stone. And now Heaney's got some high contact as well. Tumbles to ground. Umpire lets them play and now says give it to me for a ball up on the outer wing here. 13-9 plays 5-4. We've played 5 minutes in this third quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport from the stoppage. Heaney looks okay now. Sends a high kick inside 50. McDonald backs back into the path of Taylor. Giants have numbers around the ball in defence, and now Whitfield dispossessed. Breaking a tackle, Fonte. Taylor got it before he had it. Worried there by Warner. And now Ash bundled toward the boundary line by Chad Warner. The stoppage inside 50 for the Swans at the Olympic Stadium end. And the Sydney Swans continue a 53-point lead.
Well, at least there's some physicality. There's a bit of spice back into the game in terms around the contest around the ball. So it's good to see.
That was clearly the message at half-time from GWS. Can they sustain it, though? Oliver does well to get the handball away, and Fonte clears defensive 50. So the race is on now to the wing. Thomas leads it for the Giants. Blakey comes out to meet him. Thomas did well to keep it out in front of him, and handball over the top. Well done, youngster. Here's Krzyzewski. Has support in the form of O'Halloran. Breaks free. Gets it to Stone. Back over the top. They've turned it over now to Rampy. They lock it up with the tackle from O'Halloran on McCartan. Ball goes out. They'll have a boundary throw just outside attacking 50 to GWS. This has been much better, but they trail by 50.
Can they kick the ball to like one-on-one? Well, that's what a key forward wants. Just kick the ball in there. It's so frustrating watching both when teams do that.
Swans by 53. Rucks wrestle Grundy and Madden. And it comes there for Errol Goulden. Spins clear of the stoppage, and now on that driving left foot beyond defensive 50. A way to pass out there for Campbell. Tucked himself under it and takes the mark here at half back for the Swans. 7 minutes played, third term. Campbell in his second game back does retreat back inside the D50 for Goulden. And now from that back edge of the square finds Roberts on that far side of the ground. Plays off the hand pass here now for Edwards. Down towards the forward line, but wide interception now for the Giants. There's a free kick here, and the umpire just saying, will we go in fact Chad Warner's way? He plays on very quickly. I think the umpire won't have it. In fact, he may say yes, but not enough to Papley. Advantage paid Sydney. And his kick tumbles into the chest in Lockie Ash at fullback for the Giants.
That was a collection of errors as Ash plays on to Whitfield and flying Finn Callahan. We haven't said that too much in this game so far. Runs off Jordan, gives it to Cal Brown at half forward. Now O'Halloran checks back inside. That's a terrible kick. So scrappy. And it's marked easily by Roberts in defensive 50. So a promising Giants attack amounts to nothing. Here's Campbell, stood up in the contest on the wing, opposed by Himmelberg. Got support from McDonald. We got the arms free and found Roberts, and they can go through the corridor now. Sydney. Mills shares it with Goulden,
and Goulden uses the ball well here towards half forward. Curnow comes up and marks 70 from goal. They're all streaking forward in red and white jumpers. Hand pass wide here for Roberts, goes on the entry, and Oliver picks it off. He was looking for Papley, and Oliver got separation and read that ball off the boot of Roberts. The Giants will have it again here from that last line. Oliver off to Lockie Ash.
It's circle work. That's what it's training. It's circle work.
Ash goes one way, now the other. Stops there in the path of Sarong. Now darts back to his left with a bounce. And exits defensive 50. Coming across here, Jake Lloyd intercepts, shares it with Mills. The skipper lost the ball to Thomas tackle, and now Lloyd plays a tackle of his own, which was too high. And the Giants play at Bedford. Free kick with GWS at half back.
Here's Finn Callahan. It's a clever kick to a dangerous spot, gathered by Cornelio. Shares it with Jack Howe. Now Cal Brown, a sweeping handball. Can string a kick one after 0-7 last week. Shares it instead with Cadman, who did keep it in perhaps before putting it over the goal line. I'm not sure. It'll be a really tight call. It might have just gone over. Not sure why Stringer didn't just kick it himself. Handballed it over the top. Overcooked it perhaps to Cadman. And a chance for another Giants goal has been wasted because that looks like it was over the line before Cadman got his boot to the ball.
I can't believe what I'm watching. This has been horrible. Like,
did all the ball cross? Maybe not.
I'm calling that a goal.
I think there may have been a little bit of the football that is line with the line, and this could be a major to the Giants and Cadman, and a bit of embarrassment.
But this whole last 5 minutes, it's been horrible. It's just like circle.
Oh, it's a behind. I'm not sure if the full ball did cross the line there. Anyway, it's a behind.
Soft call was behind. Speaking of soft, that's been the Giants through much of the game so far. Swans by 52 points here at the showground. Lakey fires it deep beyond defensive 50. Going up McDonald. Ground ball won by Jake Lloyd. Just tumbles it down the outer side. Unkind bounce for Kerno there in the contest with Taylor. Loose man pouncing it there. Laverty shares it with Taylor. Off to Iden. The Giants defence combines there through hand. And now Iden's kick down the other side. Edwards spoils Cadman. Ricochets down here as Burwater brings down O'Halloran. Ball comes free. Worked away by Mills, and now Goulden across the half-back line to find his ruckman Grundy at centre-half back to the Swans.
Grundy shares it back with Goulden. Possession number 29 for Errol. Three-time Kirk Ward medalist. Now Roses. Only his second touch of the game and his first kick inside 50 after marking on the wing. Punched away from that contest by Taylor with conviction. Is had his colours lowered by Kerno in this game so far. That was better from him. Boundary throw just outside attacking 50 for the Swans. Right half forward.
Yeah, you can see Errol, he just works so hard. He's starting to get into the game, and as his opponent drops off in work rate, Errol keeps it at that super high level. That's why he just accumulates.
Swans by 52 here. Brown missed the ruck against Grundy. Bursting away, all dispossessed by Stringer. Umpire says yes, it's a free kick. Giants advantage paid as well. Kimberley gets some run going on the member's side. Slips over here as Harry Kyle gets him. And pass off to Cadman. He turns McCartan blind. The will kick towards the 50. Connor Stone finds Grajewski. Centering ball comes from the Giants across here. The other pocket for Angwin. And watched it through the air. And controls the chest mark here. 25 out on the 45-degree angle.
He ended up working that quite well through the middle there. Grajewski, there was an outnumber that Blakey had come back inside 50. He didn't have too many options. He's either going to have a shot from the boundary or centre the ball, and he did well.
And when the left footer goes on the snap here with a set shot, and he pops it through. The Giants just need far more of that. 12 minutes played, third term. The Swans 13-9-87. The Giants 6-5-41. The margin 46 points in the Swans' favour. By the way, at the MCG, three-quarter time there, Hawthorn now leads Essendon by 74 at the final change. So they'll be staying in third spot for now, assuming, of course, the Swans get the job done here.
Yeah, a few uncharacteristic errors really from the Swans as well, isn't it? Their pressure's dropped off a little bit and just going for a little bit too much. They're trying to get the ball in Goulden's hand at every chance they can get, but probably going a little bit over top there. They just need to stick to that team structure.
Even their last time in forward, they're starting to let that layer-rise into the game, which I'll just keep reinforced. You just got to keep driving and just do the basics. The best teams do the basics and the fundamental at 100% of the time.
Swans by 46 points. Where was this from the Giants at the start of the game? That's what their fans are wondering. It's been a much better response since half-time under what was said during that main break. Dare say it wasn't pretty as Fonte puts that in front of Angwin. The bounce doesn't suit him though. Gathered by Lloyd on the wing. As Papley in support, he gathers it at left half forward. Driving ball into the pocket. McDonald's taken the mark. Got himself in a nice position. Set his body. Got the arms outstretched, Logan McDonald. He'll have a snap from 20 out, tight angle to the left.
You just don't want that. You work hard, you score, then all of a sudden the other team go back and counter. Like you want to be able to just put a little bit of pressure on them, kick goals straight away on you.
Logan McDonald, the boy from Bunbury, former number 4 draft pick with his second of the game. No worries. Immediate response from the Swans. Margin back to 52 points. And Logan McDonald, who was quiet early, has worked his way into this game, and he's got the double.
Well, they had him up at the wing there at one stage. Like, I'm not sure what they're trying to do there, but look, I think the two-prong key forward attack looks a lot better for Sydney. So the bigs aren't getting in each other's way, and then you've got Heaney that goes there, who can play tall, small, he can do anything, and then the little mosquito fleet running around has been super dangerous.
They've been working well, haven't they? Even there, Kerno kind of provided a bit of a block and let him have a jump at the footy. Ever since you said he hadn't touched the footy, he's actually looked right, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's got involved in the game, but there does look like there's that space there. And once again, McDonald got him behind the defender, and the Giants defender coming back with the ball just couldn't create the contest.
Goals in every game bar 2. As Logan McDonald for the Sydney Swans. They start back in the middle. McLean flies against Madden. Oliver gets hands to it here. The clearance goes away at the Giants. Tumbling high ball towards half forwards. Under it, Stone couldn't bring it down. Slapped away here cleverly by Blakey into the path of Warner. Just gets it out of here towards half forward, but intercepted by Laverty. For the Giants just behind the centre circles.
He'll play on quickly and hammer it towards right half forward. Krzyzewski the target, punched it away from McCartan as he had back position. Stringer's there. Doesn't know where the football is. It's behind you, Jake. And now he's gathered it. Rampy falls on him. The two veterans share a smile.
There's a lot of players. A lot of players have slipped over tonight. It's not wet or dewy yet. There's been a perfect day. The surface is a bit loose or something. I'm not quite sure.
Swans by 52. Angwin for a chance at his second goal of the term. Yes, that is some sort of snap. 49 out, standing start on his left. He has ripped that. Ryan Angwin. That's his second goal of the quarter. The Giants bring it back to a 46-point lead. In favour of the Swans.
Don't get much better than that out of the stoppage. One step, left foot, bang, beautiful. Lovely finish.
Well, it's good to see, isn't it? He's had his work cut out from him a little bit. He's starting in the centre square against that Swans midfield who have been dominating in there, but good to see him persist. And he has got such good skills. He's dangerous when they can use him outside 50 and finishes well there.
16 games, his career best tally of any of his seasons in his career so far. Ryan Angwin, one of those players who's looking to be a part of that next generation, a more consistent and more established player in Adam Kingsley's lineup.
You can see the Swans are just throwing things around now. You got Blakey in the centre bounce.
Yeah, he stands Jack Owl as the ruck is contested by Hayden McLean and Nick Madden. McLean wins it down. Blakey couldn't quite get hands to it at that centre stoppage. McLean off to Warner. Just pokes it down the corridor. Its best position there on Braden Campbell and takes a tumbling mark at half-back to the Giants.
They're short to Whitfield. He looked very comfortable, if I say so myself. Nick Blakey standing in the centre. It's a bit like Talladega Nights. What do I do with my hands? Riley Bice takes the mark at left half-back to the Swans. And you've got a 46-point lead. You can throw things around a little bit and experiment. Campbell gathers it, shares it with Goulden. Possession number 30 for him. Out in front of Curnow. 4 goals opposed to Taylor. And that's a good win by Taylor, though. Holding the ball on Curnow. The tackle's stuck. He'll keep fighting Sam Taylor, regardless of the situation. And he's won the free kick for the Giants at centre half back.
Taylor does retreat inside defensive 50. Joe Fonte. It's big raps on Ella Roberts, his cousin, for a big AFLW season. It's not a big raps on his kick, though, as it's picked up by the Swans and Rowbottom. He slips a high tackle. Gets the free kick here at centre half forward. Rowbottom lays off the hand pass here to Blakey. This is special. He lets fly from 52 on the left. He misses near side. I mentioned the Ella Roberts reference because she's in the Australian team for next week here at North Sydney Oval against Ireland. We'll have that game for you next weekend. Of course, there's no footy, no men's footy in Sydney next week. So it's a centrepiece footy event, the Australia versus Ireland AFLW game next week at North Sydney.
That'd be a pretty good contest because most of the AFLW Irish players, isn't it?
It's going to be a spectacle, that's for sure. That's a strong mark by Cal Mills. The Swans captain opposed to Cornelio. The kick came from Callaghan. Mills, who won the Kirk Ward medal way back in 2018. The strong grab.
It was just the Kirk medal, wasn't it?
It was. It was. Let's not start that debate again. Lakey goes short to Mills. Swans up by 47 points. Derby 33. It's kicked to half forward. Well done, Himmelberg. That's a contested mark. So they seem to have some spirit about them again, the Giants. I think they started the game this way. Might be a much closer margin. Himmelberg goes short to Iden across defensive 50.
Short kick to find Sam Taylor. Two-time All-Australian defender. Centre half back. Got themselves too much work to do. 47 points that deficit. Taylor's kick to the outer side. Jack Owl marks in the contest at McDonald. Just 19 years of age. It's the second round pick of a couple of years ago. Debuted at Monica a few weeks ago. Now it's marked by O'Halloran. The Giants just slow things down here on the outer side of the Sydney Showground. Whitfield. His kick hits the boundary line. Taken by Connor Stone. They're all setting up in that pocket on the far side of the ground. On the entry here, the Giants reaching for it. Callum Brown, Madden, best hand pass finds O'Halloran, turns Blakey inside out. Leo left foot snap on small, finds Krzyzewski, who leaps up. seen Neil finish a couple of times on that left foot himself. This occasion, it was best position Grajewski in that hot spot. He marks 25 out directly in front.
Well, they played a kick mark possession game there, the Giants, and methodically moved it and took their time, and then a deep entry. And that's what the key forwards want, just an opportunity to make a contest. And the first one over there by Brown made a contest, brought it to get snap in, and gives a key forward an opportunity to shot on goal.
Debuted in the derby a couple of years ago, Max Grajewski. Here he is on the approach. Just hit Tom on here in the third term. Grajewski steers it through. He's got his first tonight. The Giants have their 8th. And they cut Sydney's lead back to 41 points. It's 8-5-53 the Giants, the Sydney Swans. 14-10-94. As I mentioned, 21 minutes gone in this third term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport with your experts, Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patton.
Sometimes that's all you want, isn't it? As a key forward, you want to be able to run and jump at the footy. And you talked about the over handballing earlier in the quarter, but sometimes you just got to get it inside, and you're right about the build-up as well. It was a slower build-up, it was more calculated. The crowd gets a bit unsettled, it gets a bit boring, but sometimes you need to do that. You can't go fast every single time. They work the ball well along the wing and then got a deep entry inside the forward 50. Put those Swans defenders under a little bit of pressure.
Voice of two-time Brisbane club champion Joel Patfull on ABC Sport. Swans leading by 41 points and Derby 33. The Giants' response since half-time has been a whole lot better. Swans win it out of the middle. Heaney to Rowbottom into attack. McLean with the big lead. Off his hands. Ball hits the turf. Cooney's got 2 goals already. Gives it to Papley. He slides through them like a knife through butter, Tom Papley. And kicks another. His second. Well, the Giants' defence went AWOL. And Tom Papley does not need an invitation. And he will relish that moment. Bring the margin back out to 47 in favour of Sydney.
They just can't stop him replying from the Giants work well, get a goal, and then just goes back within a minute to score. It's been the story the whole game, but these small forwards are looking dangerous for Sydney. Gives them something different. Really electric. Great pick up there by Billy Cooney, and there he just split the...
Another key defender, a mature defender. Lockie Whitfield was kind of half tackled. Lockie Ash gets stepped on the inside. Todd Papley's going to take you on. Don't let him step you. If you miss a tackle to one side and he runs around and kicks on his left, you'd rather that than not even it's just stuff like that. It's almost unforgivable when you're back 50.
Celebrated his 30th birthday last week, Tom Papley, last weekend. That's when the Giants seem to find something. The Swans hit back immediately. It's been the pattern of the game, at least in this second half so far. Swans back out by 47. Up it goes in the middle. Grundy and Madden. Lloyd at a park cleared for him. Grundy back off to Heaney. He explodes away. On that right boot. He leads up and marks here just forward of the wing. Lays off the hand pass to the veteran Lloyd. Looks up inside forward 50. 2 on 3. Strong mark McDonald. Third defender coming in was Whitfield, but the right eyes for the football, backed his way toward the square and clunked it at full forward for the Swans. Opportunity here for more Giants punishment.
Too big. He's been pretty impressive this quarter, hasn't he? He's just getting to the drop of the ball, presenting well and taking it at the highest point. He's so tall that he gets his arms up there and takes it high. It doesn't matter who's playing on him. It makes it pretty difficult.
Still, it's Whitfield needs to make physical. Just try and take the body when you spoil.
Logan McDonald here for his 30th goal of the season. In he trots and makes no mistake. Almost directly in front. And the Swans with back-to-back majors to extend that lead back out to 53 points. It's 16-10, 106. GWS 8-5-53. The score's been doubled here in front of a reasonable crowd here on this Saturday evening in Sydney. It's all been just about one-way traffic in Sydney Derby 33.
Yeah, it's good movement patterns there by the 2 key forwards. It was McDonald and McLean working together this time. Just up and back, working off each other. So, the synergy around the forward lines, as good as I've seen, I know that hasn't been much sort of defence against them, but it's as good as I've seen the Swans forward movement and forwards sort of work together this season.
Swans by 53 points. Logan McDonald with 3. Charlie Curnow was 4. Happy with a couple as well. Chad Warner's been brilliant from the outset. He emerges from the stoppage in the middle of the ground, sends it out to left half forward. Sarong's there. Got to give it to Heaney. Heaney worked it forward to Rowbottom. 60 out. Long ball. Top of the square. Marked by McLean. So the Giants showed some spirit at the start of the third quarter. It is dissipating now at a rate of knots because Hayden McLean will send the Swans out to a 59-point lead from 10 out straight in front in a moment.
It's the longer, deeper kicks. The Sydney are bringing more kick and more deeper entries into the game rather than over handballing, and it's paying dividends.
Curno's kick 4, McDonald 3. Hayden McLean with his first kick of the game. The third amigo up there was never going to miss from that range. Sydney's lead, 59 points, 17-10, 112. The Giants at home, 8-5-53. 25 and a half gone in the third term. Saturday footing on ABC Sport.
Well, it was another key forward taking a pack mark, wasn't it? It's just too much space. It was Harry Himmelberg on that occasion, but playing in front, and we talked about it before, sometimes you just got to play on your man. You play in front because you want to be proactive and aggressive and you want to press forward and help out your teammates in a zone. But if you're one-on-one deep in the goal square, sometimes you just have to take the body, get back to the body and don't let him have the clear jump at the footy because he was 5 metres in front and then just got lost once the ball came through, hits it over the top and it makes it really hard for yourself. So sometimes you've got to go back to the basics. Play on your man, win the contest.
Take some body, is it? Check the body, don't let him have a run and jump at it.
59 points, a new game-high lead. Heaney first hands to it, dispossessed. Thomas competes with Roberts and Brown bounds after here for the Giants. McCready gets there first for the Swans. Hand pass across half forward. Picked off by Rouston for the Giants. And now Ash goes for some dash off half back. Shares the hand pass with Cal Brown. They go high inside forward 50. Cadman's down there with Edwards and we'll bounce here in front of Krajewski. Kyle might mop up. First hands to it, Edwards. Shares it with Kyle and now he will put all that power behind one and share it with Goulden. And here's a little kick to find Roberts in the right back pocket for the Swans. So they withstand that little attacking surge from the Giants and hang on to a 59-point lead, a game high here at the showground.
Roberts takes plenty of time, waits for Bice to find some space and handballs it to him. And then Bice has to handball it to himself because Harvey Thomas tackled him and now won it. Gave it back to Cornelio. Ball at left half forward for the Giants. Here's Clayton Oliver. Takes it upon himself to have the shot on goal, but he did not connect well and is out of bounds on the full. He had some teammates in a better position there, but I'll tell you what, the way Clayton Oliver fights on his own sometimes, maybe he was within his rights to have a shot himself out of bounds on the full.
It should have been, would have been good to be a goal just to teach Riley Bice a lesson for that rubbish.
So still got quarter of a bit to go in this derby. As Daniel Gard mentioned earlier, only once in 11 years has a margin been this kind of territory. So 59 points as it currently stands. And the Swans still in control as Callum Mills played plenty of derbies, goes beyond defensive 50, reaching for it, Harry Kyle, gets some pressure from Rouston, breaks the Whitfield tackle, run down from behind by Rouston, the umpire said, yep, they ran too far as well, and Rouston got him, so it will be a free kick for the Giants on the outer wing, and that margin, back in 73 points back in 2022, so that's the sort of the outlier as far as really bad margins. Headed that way here, you would think, as we approach three-quarter time.
Lockie Ash has it. Because Mark McVeigh was the stand-in coach for the Giants on that occasion, the season where Leon Cameron departed. Oliver shares it with Callahan. Roberts at front position. Giants deep in attack. Falls to McCartan under pressure. Hootie gathers it. Got it to Grundy. Quick handball to Goulden. Goulden's kick was smothered. The ball. Right back pocket for Sydney. Edwards gathers it. Big leap by McLean. Falls to the back of the pack. McLean couldn't take it. Iden taps it to himself, but Rowbottom's right there with him. The Swans tackling machine. Superb fight from Rowbottom. Won that contest. Slapped her forward. But the Giants can regather through Cornelio, who's been just about their best today. Looks for a Halloran on the wing, and eventually Bedford emerges with it.
Breaks one tackle. Sends his kick wide to find Thomas at left half forward. Inside 50. Grajewski leads up and marks. 45 from goal in that pocket, pops it inside 50. Stringer with a late spoil from Edwards, but the package does control the ball here in the left forward pocket, and he's well within scoring range.
I'd like to know the thought process with Krajewski's two different boots. Is he have a foot problem or something? It's quite interesting. You don't really see that too often.
Two different coloured boots, yeah. He was off a short time.
And they're two different brands too.
That might, yeah, okay. It's a good observation, actually, Debs, because he was off a short time ago. Maybe that done recently. Here's Stringer. Kicks from 45, misses near side. Giants 8-6-54. Swans at 17-10, 112. He had the recent knee problem, Max Brzezowski, so it might be something to do with that, if indeed it was only a recent change made in this third term.
He had a little bit of a limp when he came back on after the changeover, so perhaps that boot, a different coloured one, different brand, is there to support his left leg, which probably has an ailment of some sort, as Taylor takes a really good mark on the wing, one-handed. He's fought back nicely. Curnow beat him in a big contest, kicked his fourth, but since then, Sam Taylor's won just about every single duel, which says a lot about his mentality. Shares it with Ash, who tries to get some run going for the Giants. Finds Ralston, just forward of the wing. Swans up by 58 points. Back with Ash, and now deep into attack. Cadman the target, did well to push Edwards off the football and take the contested mark. And Cadman will kick from 25 out on an angle that will suit the left footer at right half forward.
He's finally got a one-on-one.
Yeah, he's been screaming for those opportunities, hasn't he?
One-on-one where he could have a crack at it, and genuinely was in the right position. It was, favoured him. Just pushed the Swans defender under the footy there. Great bit of body work.
So 6 goals in his last 5 games. Battling for some form, Aaron Cadman, and he's missed that one as well. He kicked 0-3 last week, which probably got overshadowed by Stringer kicking 0-7. And maybe he's got some issues when it comes to converting to Aaron Cadman, because that was one, I don't know why he didn't snap it. It was set up perfectly for that, but he should have certainly kicked. That is a 3/4 time siren, and that sums up the Giants' effort so far. That miss from Cadman as the bell went. Swans up by 57 points. It has been a shellacking so far in Derby 33. Sydney 17-10, 112. The Giants 8-7-55.
That's thanks to 10 different Sydney goal kickers. So Curnow's kicked 4, 3 for Logan McDonald, 2 each for Papley and Cootie. Singles to Warner, Rowbottom, Campbell, Grundy, McLean and Sarong. Meanwhile, for the GWS Giants, who we said showed a bit more in that early stages of the third term, have watched it blow out to what was a game-high lead a short time ago of 59 points, now 57, but the Giants have 3 goals for Stephen Coniglio, 2 for Ryan Anglin, singles for Brown, Brzezowski, O'Halloran also on the board for them as well. Just meanwhile, quickly at the MCG, in the final stages there, Hawthorn leads Essendon by 76 points, so 16-16, 112 to 5-6-36. Jack Gunston's kicked 7, including his 600th career goal. So the Hawthorn forward, who's going around again next year, the veteran, 7 goals there at the MCG. Earlier, Carlton beat Gold Coast by 13 points at Docklands. That's 9 straight defeats now for Damien Hardwick's Suns. And later on, the Bulldogs take on Richmond, also at Docklands, as part of an AFL fixture double dipper there at Docklands. The Swans lead by 57 points here at the final change in Sydney Derby 33. It's all coming your way across ABC Radio, News Radio and ABC Listen. This is Saturday Footy on ABC Sport.
Some invitations are just too good to refuse, like conversations in the kitchen with our most prominent politicians. Surprises aplenty.
New Kitchen Cabinet with Annabelle Crabb. Streaming now on ABC iView.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Walden tracks it back. Stringer gathers it, got free and found Coniglio. And he's got his third. So that's much better from the home side.
Long ball down the corridor. Curnow in the contest with Taylor. Second bite. Did so well. Just out-muscled Sam Taylor. Curnow can respond here for the Swans. He's 40 out. Very slight angle right of centre. He's 4th and he steers it through. 4 goals for big Charlie Curnow.
As Papley in support, he gathers it at left half forward. Driving ball into the pocket. McDonald's taken the mark. Former number 4 draft pick with his 2nd of the game. No worries. Immediate response from the Swans. Angwin for a chance at his 2nd goal of the term. Yes! That is some sort of snap. 49 out, standing start on his left. He has ripped that. Ball hits the turf. Cootie's got 2 goals already. Gives it to Papley. He slides through them like a knife through butter. Tom Papley and kicks another. His second.
Looks up inside forward 50, 2 on 3. Oh, strong mark McDonald. Logan McDonald here for his 30th goal of the season. In he trots and makes no mistake. Almost directly in front. The Swans with back-to-back majors.
Row bottom, 60 out, long ball, top of the square, marked by McLean. The third amigo up there was never going to miss from that range.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
9 goals either end in that third term, and for a team that is the equal third best third quarter team in the competition, that always felt like the Giants' last chance to fight their way back into the game. As it happens, the Swans with a better part of a 10-goal lead at three-quarter time in Sydney Derby 33. Your experts on ABC Sport are Norm Smith medalist Ryan O'Keefe and former Giant and Lion Joel Patfull.
It was a bit more of the same, wasn't it, really? I mean, we saw a bit more intensity from the Giants early on where they looked like they, might up their pressure and up their tackle pressure, but they couldn't hold it, could they? And once the Swans kind of got through there and got it inside 50, some good ball movement, and their tall forward stood up that quarter as well, took some good contested marks and were able to convert, where on the other hand, the Giants still had some opportunities but couldn't convert, and their key forwards, Cadman and Stringy, just couldn't get it through the big ones. So a bit more of the same. I mean, where do you go from here? It's like the Swans also, their pressure probably dropped a little bit, and there was a few moments there, like you said, where they got carried away with probably getting a bit ahead of themselves, a few forward handballs when they didn't need it. Warner inside 50 giving off a handball when he should have a shot at goal, and a few things there slip into the game, which are those little things that, they're looking to get out of their game the further they go into the season.
Yeah, it's an interesting one from a Swans perspective in terms of, they can't really flirt with how they're playing because they haven't actually been in that great form. So this is a good win for them to get back into form. What I have liked is their forward line set up with the two keys and then the four small. I reckon that's created a lot more space and opportunities for the key forwards, and they're being really dangerous. And then the smalls getting busy. I think it's just trying to find that combination who's worked well. I think with Papley back there and Roses has really struggled, so how do you get him back into that game? Do you throw him in the midfield and go give him something to look? They're the sort of things as Swans coaching group. What are you going to get more out of this game with fingers crossed not getting injuries to key players? So that's probably where I sort of see it. The Giants, just compete. It's hard to say. What do you bring to this? They haven't really brought much. The positive thing is I think Cogs has
he's been okay.
Been a great player.
They've finally put Finn Callahan into the middle. He's starting in the centre of the ground for the first time today at the start of the last quarter when you're 10 goals down. Talk me through that.
You've got to work through the tag, and as a team go, hey, you take. I remember when if one of our players was getting tagged, every one of your teammates would be running into that tag and making a hell for the tagger. There's been none of that. No, you got to support your teammate out there.
Last quarter underway here at the Sydney Showground. Grundy flies against Madden. Ball comes to the other side. Bedford shrugs off one tackle there. Shares a hand pass with O'Halloran. Fonte sprinting towards goal from 50 out with a nice finish as well from Smoke and Joe Fonte. Ideal start in the final term for the Giants. They've still got plenty of work to do, but Joe Fonte scores the first goal of that final term within 15 seconds. And it's now a 51-point lead in the Swans' favour. 9-7-61 plays 17-10, 112. Joe Fonte on the board for the Giants.
He's got some speed, Fonte. He runs. So do you try him in different positions as well? I think he's up on the wing at the moment, but put him in the midfield or something, a bit of sparkle, a bit of speed in there, which you've got to try. That's something probably the Giants can do. Is now they can definitely try and shuffle some players around.
Well, so Finn Callahan, his first hands in that stoppage, two Sydney Swans players come straight at him. He feeds it out. Joe Fonte gets on the end of it. Just create that, create something. Try something different, and it's good to see.
Joe Fonte was just the second goal of his 40-game AFL career, and it was a beauty on the run. O'Halloran's worked really hard. Wins this clearance, pumps it inside 50. Cadman couldn't take the mark. Waddy's fall on the footy. We'll have a ball up in attack for the Giants, who trail by 51 points. Goulden with 32 touches, Warner 26, Heaney 23. Grundy, who's been brilliant all game, dominated the ruck with 21. Grundy and Warner
with goals as well. We'll have the secondary ball up in the same position. Inside 50 for GWS. Madden palms it down to O'Halloran. Try to bounce off Heaney. Heaney won that. They can work it off half back now, the Swans. Jordan with hands to Warner. In space, over the top to Papley. Papley doesn't get purchase on the kick. It's an up and under. Barely went 15. Curnow brought it to ground. Stone there did nicely at centre half back for the Giants. Shared it with Angwin. And now Fonte. Back to Iden. And he can give it to Ash via the handball. He goes backwards to Taylor. Now back to Ash. And eventually they can spot up a target via a kick with Nick Madden.
Madden stands on the wing, lays off the hand pass to Oliver, who's running by. Drives it long inside 50. Cadman running start, can't get there. Brings it down over Stringer, who tumbles on the snap towards goal, and it floats through. That package delivers. And the Giants have a couple of quick goals to start the final term. So Jake Stringer on the board after those 7 behinds last week. A big game in the context of his future at this club or beyond. And the lead for the Swans is back to 45 points. 17-10 plays 10-7. We've now played 3 minutes in this final term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Love to see that. Just handball received. Oliver just goes bang to the danger spot, and Cadman comes out, splits the pack as a key forward. Crumb goal. Like, when they go play more direct and you give your key forwards, you've got some super talent up there. That's what you've drafted them for. So you've got to kick the ball and give them an opportunity to compete. He didn't take the mark, or he's doing a stat for a Cadman, but he's come out and just gone busted that pack, and that's what caused the goal.
Yeah. You ever thought about being a coach?
Flies at the footy beautifully, does Cadman. Stringer did the rest.
Are they a chance here, by the way, as well?
A lot of work to do from this point on. He breaks that run of behinds, though, Jake Stringer. So it was 8 straight. That was a handy finish. The free kick is going the way of Taylor. So since Curnow kicked his 4th, he's barely been sided. Taylor has won that contest. Curnow did a lot of damage early on. Taylor to Ash, and now Iden. He goes short to Harry Himmelberg at left half back.
Himmelberg to Stringer, his recent goal kicker at left half back. Ball to play on now. Kicks around Rampy, down towards half forward. Up goes Grundy in the contest with Madden. On that loose footy, pounced on by Oliver. Sweeps it wide now for Anglin on his preferred left. Straightens up with the ball inside 50 for Bedford. And Bedford marks 45 out. Directly in front here. This will test his distance as Heaney stands the mark. Toby Bedford. Chance for 3 straight Giants goals. 8 touches last week. Before that, he had 23 and 2 in his last game at home. Opens up the angle, connects from 50. I think it's wobbling its way there on the line, touched for a minor score. 10-8-68, the Giants. The Swans 17-10-112. Have played 5 minutes in this final term. Saturday footy in Sydney Derby 33 coming away on ABC Sport.
So the Swans, who lost 3 of their last 4. Maybe against weaker opposition, but it's a derby nonetheless, in control. But Giants are pushing hard here late on. They win it back at centre half forward. Bedford into the left forward pocket, looking for a target. Couldn't find one. Blakey's kick is dangerous across defensive 50. There's some Giants lurking in the area. Sarong took the mark on his chest, gave it to Goulden. Possession number 33 for Errol. And then he finds one of his partners in crime in Isaac Heaney. He takes the contested mark at left half back.
Heaney has a few steps and now kicks long down the Nimbers wing. Grundy from behind on Madden. At the drop, Jordan lays the tackle on Thomas. Reaching for it, Roses. Picked off by Iden of the Giants. Hand pass there on the bounce for Callahan. Back to his vice-captain, turn acting captain. And Iden off to Thomas. Retreats back to centre-half back for Lockie Ash. 20 disposals coming up for him. This is a dicey kick though, as Papley makes the contest on Bedford. Shrugs away Ash, sends the Swans inside 50. Back with the flight, McDonald reaching for it, can't get there. It's on the bounce, end over end. Floats the hand pass away here now for Lloyd. Open square, pops it through. And the Swans at last get one back with the veteran Jake Lloyd. It's So 18-10, 118, margin back to 50. The Giants 10-8, 68. We've played now 7 minutes in this final term, Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
You just pull your hair out, will you? Like, is it like what does Adam Kingsley do? I was sort of just thinking as this passage of play began, is it talking about the game style of the Giants? Is this the players under instruction to do how they move the ball, or have they sort of been given a bit of license and never been pulled up for it? Or like, I'd really like to know what's the instructions behind it.
Well, I think there's obviously.
That might do it.
Yeah. Maybe Adam Kingsley's gone and hit the fire alarm.
Well, we're used to the tsunami alarm, but this is different.
Haven't heard that before. The ground. No one's moving, I can tell you, despite the fire alarm going off here at the Sydney Showground. People being told to evacuate. Feels like the Giants evacuated a long time ago, down by 50 points.
I think it's just here in the broadcast centre, which is annoying because no one else out there can hear it. But in here, where, you know, in a radio studio, usually you'd have a silent alarm. It's obviously not ideal.
A bizarre situation in Derby 33, but the show goes on. Here's Ash at half-back. Lloyd with the last goal. He had an eternity to gather that in the goal square. Took a while for any Giants defender to go near him. As Iden switches it to Angwin, we apologise if that is a bit annoying, that siren. It is for us as well. Here's Thomas. Takes the bounce on the wing. Checks inside. Finds Oliver at centre-half forward. Handball back to Thomas. He can have a shot. Works in on his left. Should have done a whole lot better. Harvey Thomas is better than that. Doesn't even make the distance. And Cal Mills can shepherd it over for a rush behind. Margin back to 49 points in favour of the Swans.
Mercifully, this is our second last game here this year. I think they play at Manuka next home game, the Giants, against the Suns in a few weeks' time. And I think I can see people trying to get stuff. Are they actually packing up in there in the broadcast area? I can't actually see any kind of fire or smell one. So we're going to carry on here, by the way. Himmelberg gets a nudge there from Roses up against the interchange gates. I would hope they're going to go and rectify this situation and figure out why we're hearing this bloody alarm. But anyway, no reason to be alarmed at this stage. Swans by 49 points here at the Sydney Showground. 9 minutes played, final term. Down it comes here for Madden. Al brought down by Rowbottom. Towed forward here off to Jordan. Hurried kick goes out of bounds on the full, and it will be Giants ball on this member's side, which is where people are still hearing little fire alarm warnings. Swans by 49 points here in Derby 33.
Emergency. That's the case for GWS in their season. Angwin up to half forward, off hands. Gathered by Hamilton. Now Jack out, ducks around. A couple of Swans, has a shot on goal. That was Jack out, searching for his second goal in AFL footy, off hands, and we have a rush behind. So 48 points the Swans lead by. It's almost as if the players can hear this annoying alarm going off and are just going through the motions out there a little bit. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Here's Blakey in the left back pocket. His kick up to the wing, Grundy there. It's a free kick going the way of Madden. Resting with Madden and with Grundy, and Grundy threw him off the ball.
They're trying to, unsurprisingly, they're trying to cut this alarm. So I've spoken to some people who are just working away in the background there. Doesn't seem to be too effective so far. Swans by 48 points here.
Someone smoking in the toilets, perhaps?
Angwin off to, is it Joe Fonte, Smoking Joe? Here's Himmelberg, just forward of halfway here for the Giants. This is fetid and just ridiculous. By the way, the MCG has just gone full time. Hawks have beaten Essendon by 93 points. Inside 50 they go here, the Giants. Kept alive by Grajewski, off to Hamilton, and he straightens up here. He's pushed off the kick late. Slapped away here by Stone, but Gordon waits for it here in defence with the Swans, just thumps it back beyond defensive 50, and Angwin marks it right half forward.
Angwin plays on quickly into the pocket, looking for Hamilton, but it wasn't the best kick because 4 Swans were around the Giants youngster, and they work it over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Sprig, I know you said that this is the second last game or whatever here.
Yeah.
Is this maybe for another time to discuss? Is it time for one venue in Sydney as a premier venue like every other state does?
I can tell you, as the guy who carts around the champion data computer from venue to venue here in Sydney, then yeah, probably.
I'm ready. I'm a big advocate. I'm glad you brought that up.
Rowbottom's kick is marked by Taylor. The repeat entries for GWS. The Swans have St Kilda away next week. The Giants travel to take on Port. The Swans have won. Will now be 7 of the last 8 derbies, and now you can hear the Bronx cheer going around the ground.
What's going on out there as well? So everyone was hearing
They
it.
could hear it, and the players could hear it. They didn't seem to be putting too much effort in. They were impacted by it as well. That annoying alarm has finally stopped here at the showground. And a free kick inside 50. We can hear the crowd cheering rather than that sound, because it's a giant free kick to Jake Stringer in attack. And Stringer can have a shot for his second of the game from the 45-degree angle to the right, 45 metres out.
Well, it's good to see everyone was moving quickly then if there was something going on. So, but in other news, it's good that the alarm's gone off. But another shot here for Stringer. Finished well with his last opportunity. He'd want this just for the confidence, wouldn't he? He missed a set shot earlier in the game and be looking to put this one through.
Stringer into his stride. Try and restore more pride for the Giants. His kicking woes continue from a set shot. That's across the face and out of bounds on the full. For anyone who's lived in an apartment building, it's one of those where the siren goes late at night and you think, that's a false alarm. I'm not going outside. I think everyone in the stadium had the same mentality.
As I say, purpose-built broadcast facilities, TV stations, they all have a silent alarm, so you can sort of see the light flashing, but you can't hear it because you've got microphones and things. Doesn't matter. We're done with that now. They go beyond defensive 50 here, the Swans. Himmelberg reaches from the back there on McLean. And Roberts keeps it alive. Oh, he's bundled to the ground by Joe Fonte. And the umpire will throw it back in at left half forward for the Giants. Swans by 48 points here. Sort of come back to a bit of a middling margin as far as how it all looks. The Swans have been dominant, but it won't be anything too special as far as historically bad for the Giants. It does have dire ramifications for their season, though. Callahan gets hands to it now, shares it with Laverty. Tumbles his kick down the outer side. Gordon marks on the intercept here and now sends his kick in the middle of the Sydney showground for Braden Campbell. He stops, and so does Hamilton, is called to stand. Campbell goes inside forward 50. Heaney was outnumbered. Falls for Himmelberg, shares it with Laverty, off to Taylor, passing close quarters here, back to Laverty, now Himmelberg from full back, he comes back down the line, Whitfield is paid the grab, just inside defensive 50 for GWS. The Swans lead by 48 points here, 14 gone on the final term, Sydney Derby 33.
Cadman on a long lead, marks in front of Edwards on the wing, and that raking left boot, kicks to half forward, Cornelio underneath it, resting with Blakey. Blakey happy to take that over the boundary line. Inside attacking 50 for the Giants. So yeah, it'll be 7 of the last 8 derbies away of the Swans. And although, as we said before, it's weaker opposition to the teams they've played across the last month. Much needed win. Derby victories do count for a lot in this city. Get the Swans going after a difficult run of form in their pursuit of second spot behind Fremantle. Sweeping handball out of defensive 50 by Sydney. Roses gives away the free kick. Goes to Angwin, who led him to the football. Angwin, the Giants back into attack from the wing.
Fonte, that's it right half forward. It's back on the inside there of Campbell, picked off by James Rowbottom. Now Roses spins on the tackle of Angwin. He's dispossessed, so we'll come back here for the tackler. And the Giants ball, in fact, they're going to come back to the initial contest with Rowbottom, who got some high contact. That will be a Swans free kick.
You'd be a bit worried about this with the Swans, this intensity here. This is what we're talking about, isn't it? If you want to be a top team, you just got to bury the Giants here and finish them off. But this is just lingering a bit, isn't it?
Blakey's
This is putrid.
So this is a team that's supposedly the second best team in the competition. Yeah, they're going to win comfortably in this game, but that's not what I guess Swans fans want to see going forward. Curnow just ragdolls Lockie Ash. Braden Campbell gets the loose ball here for the Swans. Shoves off Cornelio, off to Rampy. Steps back on the inside there of Stringer. Stringer tries again to get Rampy. Hand pass off here for Campbell. Looks for options by hand. Gordon bursting by. Just sort of goes in low there on Gajewski to avoid the tackle. Goes inside 50. Good Cooten does take the mark here. 40 out directly in front. Yeah, it's not been a standard becoming of a top 2 team in the competition.
It's called football.
Yeah.
Like, use your foot. Like, it's really concerning. And what I am worried about the Swans is they've got an easy run into the finals. They're not going to get tested. I'd rather them play.
Then they're going to get Brisbane or Hawthorn.
Yeah, I'd rather them play 5 super hard, top 5-6 teams in the lead up, and so they can sharpen up their game and really see where they're at. It's a bit worrying for me, to be honest.
2 goals so far tonight for Billy Cootie. It's his 5th game overall, his first Sydney derby. He kicks from 40 out and misses to the far side. 17 gone final term. The Swans lead here by 49 points.
Errol Goulden up to 38 touches. He's won 3 Kirk Ward medals, maybe a 4th. It's going to be hard to go past him. He just works away at you all game, Errol Goulden. Quite amazing his ability to rack up disposals. Oliver, who's fought manfully for the Giants, he's caught holding the ball on the wing. Oliver, Canelio, Iden, maybe 3 names you can think of.
I think Cadman's tried.
He has tried really hard.
It doesn't look much on the stat sheet, but I've been impressed. He's at least competed and worked hard.
But he has. Laverde flies, couldn't bring it to ground.
Oh, wow.
Heaney in so much space. On his left, the snap is through. Well, there were about 4 Giants defenders around Isaac Heaney then, and no one went to him to put pressure on. Isaac Heaney almost with an embarrassing smile as he runs off the ground. That was way too easy for AFL standards.
I don't think he realised. He was so surprised he had that much space.
There would be Swans VFL players that have put more pressure on a training than that.
Well, it sums up the night, doesn't it?
Oh.
They're going to the secondary option before they've shut down the first option. Like, you've got to put pressure on the ball carrier. Don't worry about what he could be doing with it. Close that off. Make a tackle.
Hilbert again.
Yeah.
Lucky Ash was standing still. He did not move a muscle.
He's a dead set turnstile. He might as well have the clicker, like a security open the rope. Yep, no worries, come through.
Wow. Well, there's been, you laugh about it, but there's been a few throughout the night, hasn't there?
Oh, yeah.
It's like these are the nights where they do get magnified, and they're the little things that happen throughout the season. And in those games, when they ask the question, what happened, this is what happens. But you just see it more in a game like this.
Like, I know they want some attacking defenders, but you can't have Himmelberg, Whitfield and Ash off your halfback. You need defenders that defend.
From the restart, Swans go forward with a kick of McLean. On the bounce, McDonald, tackled by Ash, just got it away in time. Roses hovering for it. Pressure does come from Harvey Thomas, and they can't keep it alive. So throw it back in the left forward pocket at the scoreboard end. 19 minutes played here at the showground. Swans lead by 55 points, so the margin was as big as 59 late in the 3rd term. They will blow out from here as we approach time on.
McLean palms it down, tries to regather it. Good tackle by Jordan on Callaghan. Done a really good job. And the Giants prime mover as Fonte darts around in defensive 50 to Laverde and Thomas. He's kicking for Oliver. Well done by Lloyd to cut across Oliver and spoil. The veteran fights away, and then Harry Kyle with the tackle on Whitfield will have a ball up at half forward for the Swans, who are up by 55 points. It's going to be one of their biggest derby wins in recent times since that 70-odd point drubbing in 2022. Free kick here going the way of Errol Goulden, who will rack up possession number 39. And he's a fair chance to move behind Luke Parker, who has 5 Kirk Ward medals. In 2nd place on his own if he can win his 4th here. Grundy, Warner, challenges. Curnow kicked 4. You get to 39 disposals though, and over 1,000 metres gained, you can be hard to beat.
Thinking out loud, Garby. He's doing the voting to see you guys.
He's trying to convince himself. I'll tell you who's got second most metres gains, 50-metre penalties.
Swans by 55 points here. Time on final term. Still about 7 minutes of game time left, so a long way to go in this game, but it's only going to be one result. Put him there for the Swans. Gets a boot to it. That was just through paper-thin Giants defence, and it's slammed home by James Rowbottom. Well, this club's mantra, the Giants, is never surrender. You'd say, put up the white flag on season 2026. That's how it seems at the moment, because they now trail the derby by 61 points. A new game-high lead after a 2nd goal for James Rowbottom.
It's tough to watch, isn't it, really? Like some of those senior Giants defenders in particular will be really disappointed with those efforts and really just magnifying their tackling pressure and intensity at the footy. Like Rowbottom just wanted that more. And there's no reason why the Giants player couldn't get a body on it, couldn't make a tackle, especially so deep inside your forward 50. So that's pretty disappointing to see. I'm sure they'll be a little bit embarrassed about this performance. I think even talk about Errol Goulden, and he's just running around on his own. He has not had someone within 5 or 10 metres of him the whole game. Like you couldn't tell who'd actually played on him. He's hardly had a body laid, but he's a pretty handy player.
Swans by 61. Tom Papley on the bench with the boots off. He's been told you've done enough. I'm not going to rest you as you try to get back to full fitness after an injury layoff. Here's Callaghan outside 50, spots up Oliver. The two prime movers for the Giants combined, and Oliver will have a shot from 45 out, almost straight in front. Possession number 27 coming up for him.
It's almost, even if the Giants staff have given up, I don't know, that's definitely not true, but I'd be shuffling the decks around, like moving players. Like, play Ash and Whitfield forward or something, or something. Like, you just can't keep just doing the same thing off half-back when there's been no defence. Like, put Bedford as a small defender. Who else they got on the bench?
In a poor Giants season, Clayton Oliver has been one of the better stories. A fantastic recruit from Melbourne. He's rediscovered his best footy after being a fantastic servant for the D's. He's had his troubles off the field, of course, but that's a big goal to cap off another fighting display from Clayton Oliver. It won't impact the margin. Swan's up by 55, but he deserves his kudos, and I think there's a fair chance that he wins another club champion award. Go with all of them that he won at Melbourne over the years. He won 4.
He has. He's been great. There was questions coming out of Melbourne about his attitude and a few other things, but he's come here and he's just been sensational. He's led from the front. I'm not sure if they've got a leadership team or if he's on that or not, but he's just led from the front. He competes. He's just a competitor. He loves the game. He loves to compete.
We almost feel sorry for him on a night like tonight, where he has been one of those guys that's been in around the contest and tried hard and at least, put his body on the line when he needed to. So he definitely hasn't been let down today.
27 disposals, 13 contested, 10 ground ball gets and 7 score involvements with that goal there, Clayton Oliver. Restart back in the middle. McLean went early against Madden. Hand pass off to Finn Callaghan. And he sends a high spiralling ball towards half forward. Oliver Park underneath it. Score from Riley Bice. Bounced away from Callaghan. Rouston floats it back inside here for Jack Au. Now wide back to Finn Callaghan on his preferred left toward the hot spot here for the Giants. Strong grab taken by Connor Stone. In at full forward, 20 out directly in front.
Talk about making some positional changes. Jack Au has been in most centre bounces this game. He's had 10 touches.
Yeah. Play him down back. Stone, back. Who else you got? You got Thomas playing. Just change it up.
Connor Stone on the approach here, and he sneaks it through. Back-to-back goals late in the game for the Giants. And Connor Stone joins their goal kickers list. The Sydney Swans, though, remain 20, 11, 131. GWS 12, 10, 82 at the 25-minute mark of this final term. Your experts on ABC Sport in Sydney Derby 33 are Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patford.
Well, much more we can say about it.
I mean, we've said a lot, haven't we? It's about how poor the Giants have been, but it's a bit of what's the saying? The painting over the cracks, or the wallpaper over the cracks at the end of a couple of cheap and easy goals. And I think that the big one probably out of this last half is potentially the Swans. The Swans' lack of intensity and the way that they haven't finished the game off. I think they'll look at that, and this should have been a game where they won by 80, 90 points. The way things were looking at halftime, and it probably started that 5 minutes into halftime where they dropped off a little bit.
Here's Finn Callaghan, backwards of the centre. Swans by 49 points. Works it up to half forward. Madden has had his colours lowered opposed to Grundy, but he's fought on, the youngster, in just his 8th game. Oh, and Callaghan's hurt himself here. Well, this is a real story on what is a really dark day for the Giants. We hope this is just cramp, but Finn Callaghan, as the Swans go inside 50, I think it's a free kick. Finn Callaghan might have popped his Achilles here on the outer side.
Yeah, that doesn't look good.
Oh, he went up for a mark to not get off the air. You just hope it's cramp. That's all it can be to avoid a serious injury. He's up on his feet now, Callaghan. But this would sour what's been a dark day for the Giants. Calf or Achilles, perhaps. He just went to jump and couldn't get off the ground. Reached for his lower leg. Play stopped as Callaghan gets attention, and hands of his trainers, it might just be cramp. As the Swans pop this through for another goal, it's Blakey who is down there. He's spent some time in the centre square. Now he's gone up forward as the Swans move things around, up by 55 points. But you just hope that it's nothing serious for Callaghan. And the way he's walking off, it feels like a serious injury may have been averted here, because
it's definitely not cramp. Like, he's done something.
Potentially like a shift in his ankle, or he goes to jump off and just rolls the ankle on the inside a little bit there. So maybe has avoided anything too serious, but
it looks like his ankle rolled in from there. You don't wish any injury, but if it is, hopefully it's just that rolled in internal ligaments in the ankle.
It looked like an Achilles at one stage.
Yeah,
jump and this. Yeah, have been sniped from the grandstand.
That's what I was really concerned about.
And that would cut him into next season just about. So it's a good result all in all, that it doesn't seem to be anything that severe for Finn Callaghan as he makes his way to the bench.
He was starting to work his way into this game, Paul. Like, he also has battled. He's had Jordan absolutely in his back pocket the whole game, so he hasn't had a free runner, and he was starting to work his way into the game a bit.
Up it goes in the middle. Brown versus McLean. Chad Warner bursts through into the Brown tackle. McLean slaps it forward here for James Rowbottom. Just hurries it towards 50 now. Not to meet it Logan McDonald, but Himmelberg taps it over his back there in defence. And now Laverty onto Thomas. Wrapped up there by Campbell. No, he evades the Campbell tackle. Back to Laverty. He gets going here away from Cootie. His handball picked off though by Jordan at half for the Swans. Campbell sends them back inside forward 50, and that running target Blake takes it again here in the left forward pocket, no more than 30 metres out. He became their 12th goal kicker, so they've had a good spread here of goal scorers.
Well, they've sent him forward.
Yeah. And here he is lining up for his second goal in the space of a few minutes.
Well, the Swans have shuffled the decks a little bit, so they've sent. They've tried Blakey in the centre bounce and now forward. So they're looking at different things for the Lizard.
Callaghan having treatment there on that lower leg injury. Comes Blakey right behind him as he kicks with his set shot, drop, punt, looks not quite good enough. It's the post on that far side. So a minor score for the Swans, 21-13, 139. The Giants 12-10, 82. In fact, it's 21-12, 138. I beg your pardon. So margin is in fact 56 points.
So a horrible couple of weeks for GWS. Losing to Essendon, just their second win of the season, the Bombers, and now slaughtered by our nearest rivals, fiercest rivals in the derby. Stone on the wing, well tackled by Bice.
So my question there, why doesn't Cognilio kick the ball? Like, what is that an instruction how they want to play and move the ball? I just don't understand it.
Ice on the ankle now of Finn Callaghan. Meanwhile, play goes on. Goulden hands to it with the Swans, off to Harry Kyle. Been good today, Harry Kyle. Mills dispossessed by the Cognilio tackle. Hamilton burst by here for the Giants. Flares up wide to find Rouston. A big day in the Hamilton household. Of course, Riley's two sisters, or two of his sisters, play for the Sydney Swans, Lexi and Cynthia. Giants bring it back inboard here. Himmelberg sends it deep inside forward 50. Cadman leads up and takes a strong grab at full forward 20.
He worked super hard for that. It was when the ball was on this side of the ground. He led over, had McCartan on the bit. It got switched over. He worked back again, so he's getting reward for effort. And I said, I think he's tried really hard all game.
He's looked good and he's looked dangerous. Like I said, in that first quarter, he probably should have had 2 shots a goal. Bad bounce, and then just an arm from Cognilio stopped the other one in the lead. But he's still presented, been good in the contest. I think he's worked really hard.
Just the one behind so far tonight, though, as he just nurses this through for his first major. Very late in proceedings here at the Sydney Showgrounds. And returns it to a 50-point buffer the way of the Sydney Swans. 21-12, 138. The Giants 13-10, 88 to tick past the half-hour mark here.
Well, it sounds simple, doesn't it? We've talked about it all night, but once again, it was that, kick inside, and then Harry Himmelberg kicked a 50-metre drop punt inside 50 and gave Cadman a chance to jump at the footy. When he can run and jump at the footy, he's hard to beat, but he just hasn't had that many opportunities, whether it's been on his head or, too many handballs, and then he ends up being out of position. Too many handballs in the chain just makes it harder and harder for him. So the more simpler the game plan, the more simple kick, Mark, long kick inside 50, give him a chance, the better off for him.
It would drive me nuts being a forward for the Giants. Absolutely drive me nuts.
The voice of Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patfull here on ABC Sport. McLean rises against Brown. I had one arm pinned there by Rowbottom. It would be going the way of James Rowbottom for holding the ball. So he picks it up, wastes no time, or sort of slows some of the time down here. Shares it to Mills, and now Warner from 60 out. Just drops that kick inside 50. Thomas dispossessed, overrun by Billy Cootie. Campbell had over it here for the Swans. Slips the tackle down there of Jack Howe. Roses gets to it first here. Oliver clobbers him. Roses kept his feet, sends it back to the centering ball to Rowbottom, who marks 40 from goal. On an angle, in fact, even better now because he finds Mills. Back to Warner. He lets fly from 45 to Chad, and he misses. So it all comes to nothing.
That's just the stuff we've been talking about. The best teams don't do that. Go back, have a shot. I was about to pump Rowbottom up there about put him in the centre bounce as being good, but that's just the stuff that they've got to iron out of their game.
Middleburg's kick goes out of bounds on the full, so it's just been more of that for the Giants across most of these 4 quarters. Not long to go now. 51 points is Sydney's lead. This will be their biggest derby win in 4 years. Carton brings it back into play. Up it goes inside 50, intercepted by Himmelberg. He does win the majority of contests down back. And his 20th Sydney derby, Harry Himmelberg. This kick's a little dicey. Works it okay for Ash, who had Cootie closing him down in these dying seconds. Played 33 minutes in this final quarter. Ash plays on. At half back, Iden. Dropped by Oliver. And the Swans, as they're defending here, well, they did what they had to do. To hang on to second spot for now. They rebound from last week's loss at home. And after Derby 33, Sydney is red and white. And I think Adam Kingsley's just seeing red after a big loss for the Giants.
Shake down the thunder from the sky. Whether the odds be great or small, Swans will go in and win overall. While our loyal Swans are marching onwards to victory.
So the Giants can feel season 2026 slipping away now. Having dropped now 5 of their past 7, make that as well 7 of the past 8 derbies in this cross-town rivalry, but that is one of their last chances running out here for the Giants in season 26. They trailed by 33 points after that quarter from the Swans, 53 at the half, 57 at three-quarter time, and the final margin here, the Swans by 51.
Cheer the red and the white, honour the name by day and by night. Lift that noble banner high, shake down the thunder from the sky. Whether the odds be great or small, Swans will go in and win overall. While our loyal Swans are marching onwards to victory.
12 different goal kickers for the Sydney Swans, led by Charlie Curno's 4. He retakes the Coleman lead. 3 for Logan McDonald, 2 each for Cootie, Rowbottom, Papley. Singles for Warner, Blakey, Lloyd, Campbell, Grundy, McLean, Heaney and Sarong. Meanwhile, for GWS, Canelio kicked 3. 2 goals for Angwin, singles for Cadman, Stringer, Brown, Oliver, Stone, Fonte, Krajewski and O'Halloran. But they were just... Anyway, you look at it, Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patfull, they were just beaten in the contest and across the 4 quarters of footy here. It has them languishing now, the Giants, in 12th spot last I checked. 8 wins, 11 losses. The Swans 14-5 now, have second spot in their keeping. Next up, they've got St Kilda at Docklands next week. The Giants away to Port at Adelaide Oval. So, as I say, it's desperate stuff now for Adam Kingsley's man. But the Swans, pretty comprehensive in this derby here this afternoon.
Yeah, they did it easy. Like, they had no opposition at all. But you know what we spoke about, they should be winning by almost 100 points out there. You look at what
it felt like that, didn't it?
Yeah, you look at what Hawthorn did to Essendon.
Yep.
Was it 90 odd points?
93 in the end.
93. Like that's putting the foot on the throat as a good team and saying, you know, that's what a top 2 or 3 teams should be doing to that opposition. The Swans, I just love them just to iron out that part of their game where they could just muck around or just layer eyes. That's what it looks like to me. They're probably not getting ahead of themselves. But just those silly stuff together, their game where they could be a lot more efficient and ruthless in terms of that.
Well, essentially, it felt like the game was over at quarter time. Yeah. They'd done enough, and that's where they brought their intensity and their energy, and they played that Swans footy that first quarter. They almost put the game to bed.
Yep.
And then, like you said, they couldn't take that next level and keep that consistent through three quarters. They got a bit carried on, a few silly things here, a few silly that let the Giants back into the game. So they're just missing that, that last 10% of that ruthless edge to really dominate the game and put it beyond any doubt. But I mean, it was a tough watch, wasn't it, on both sides that last half, and the Giants just really didn't bring much to the table to get back in the game.
We've got the Kirk Ward medal presentation here as well as the Sydney Derby trophy. Let's go down to our ceremony.
To the best player on field in the Sydney Swans, 139-point win to Giants, who scored 88. The winner of the Kirk Ward medal is Errol Goulden.
For a fourth time. So only Luke Parker has more best on grounds in the Sydney Derby. And he goes outright now past the likes of Kieran Jack and Lance Franklin, as well as himself, of course, with his fourth now Kirk Ward medal win. And the two men there, Brett Kirk and Callan Ward, stand either side of Errol Goulden today. 41 disposals, 7 score
involvements. Thank you to everybody who came out here, and thank you to the Giants as well for another good game. And cheers.
Errol Goulden, a pretty cut and dry, deserving winner of the best of field.
Blonde tip Goulden.
Congratulations, Errol. I would now like to invite winning captain Callum Mills
to receive the Sydney Derby trophy. So we'll see if Callum Mills says a few words. You can get the crowd figure here, by the way. It was probably close to 20,000. But he shakes the hands of Brett Kirk and Callan Ward and has the silverware in his hands. Cal Mills?
Firstly, to GWS, thanks very much for the contest. We enjoy playing you guys. To the fans coming out, thank you so much. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks at the SCG.
Yes, indeed. So that'll be in a couple of weeks' time when the Swans take on Port Adelaide.
Thank you all for being a part.
I mentioned Port Adelaide, of course, will be the Giants' next opponent next week at Adelaide Oval, which I think you were going across for, Joel Patfull. And all of a sudden, I guess that game means a little less in the context. Well, it means plenty for the Giants, who can still mathematically make the top 10, but on form and the way they were just so heavily beaten here today, you can't see them doing a great deal else from here. Then again, the Giants do silly things, don't they, as far as their form. So they we might start eulogising their season, then of course they'll turn things around, and they've got, I think, a couple of games. They've got the Suns, they've got Adelaide in their last game. They'll pick up a few pieces out of this.
Yeah, I still think their season's done, and I think they're at crossroads as a club in what do they do, what direction. I personally think the game style and their game plan needs to be changed. It worked at a point, but the game evolves, and it hasn't evolved around with it. I don't think you can hide behind we've got injuries and all that sort of stuff. I just don't think that game style works anymore. So that needs to be changed. So, and then do you look at the players? Like, what do you need to do a wholesale change and move some players on?
That will be a conversation that sort of plays out across these next few weeks. We're off here in a few minutes' time, so we'll get some reaction from the rooms with Daniel Garb and bring it to you later on. If you can follow our coverage across ABC Listen, of course, in the ABC AFL button, Bulldogs v Richmond, the final game to come on this Saturday evening after earlier Hawthorn beat Essendon by 93 and Carlton over Gold Coast by 13 points at Docklands. Do you have your three best players, Ryan O'Keefe?
Yeah, 3 to Goulden. I'd say 2 to Grundy and 1 to Warner.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I thought Grundy was actually, I probably would have had him close to best on. I think his first quarter was as good a quarter as you can play as a ruckman and set the tone for the game. I mean, I think Goulden was good with 40 touches, but there's a lot of uncontested and there wasn't much, going on in that second half. So, but
3
close, isn't it?
3 Goulden, 2 Grundy, 1 Warner as Ryan O'Keefe's final votes in the ABC Player of the Year. Errol Goulden now a 4-time Kirk Ward medalist for best of field in the Sydney Derby. And of course, being the fact that it is a derby, by the way, 20,141.
It was a good crowd. It was a good crowd. It was great out there.
So that puts it up in the higher sort of. They haven't had many 20,000 crowds at this ground. So
would that be mostly Swans Giants games?
That makes it the sixth biggest game, the sixth biggest crowd at this ground ever for any game, and 4th biggest derby crowd. So there you go. As far as where that crowd sits, 20,141. Before we head off here, because Finn Callaghan, we'll wait and see whether that is a serious injury for the
hope
Giants.
I hope not.
I think he's right. I think he'd had enough for the night. He just wanted to. He's sick of Jordan chasing him around.
I'm done. That's it. Off.
Swans stay second for now, by name only, but. Again, Ron O'Keefe, they looked far from the second best team in the competition tonight, didn't they?
Well, that's what I want them to have a good, solid competition leading into the finals, so they're sharp for finals. That's probably my only question there. We know they're a great side. They've got a lot of good players. Their top end talent is as good as anyone. So can they do it when the whips are cracking?
Swans by 51 here at the showground. They've now won 7 of the past 8 derbies. They continue the overall head-to-head. 22 derby wins now to the Giants 11, and reaffirm their status as bigger brother and consolidate for now second spot on the AFL ladder. Thank you, Ryan O'Keefe. Thanks to Joel Patfull. We'll see you next week in Adelaide. Thank you to Tim Traeger, our tech, to Akash in the studio. Daniel Garb, of course, as well. We'll get some reaction from the Swans rooms very soon. And to you, most importantly, for your company right across the evening so far. More footy still to come, but for now, we return you to local programs here. The Swans by 51 points in the derby.